Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV. I hope you guys are well, wherever it is that you may be around the world. We are back for a match reaction to that great game up against Everton, 6-0 on the 6-0 on the evening, and it was a good performance, a very, very good performance, one that we haven't had a lot of this season, and one that we actually thoroughly deserve to have as well. Actually, to see a performance from these players stepping up, players playing to the levels that are required. And it's very hard for us to actually. How do we mute this, man? I need to mute this. I have no clue. I'm trying to mute my WhatsApp. It's so noisy. Yeah, one that we're one that we deserve as fans for the amount of crap we've seen all season. This is one game where we actually deserve to sit back and actually enjoy a bit of good football. And yes, Everton are not the greatest of teams, and we know that, this, that, and the other. However, we still had to get the job done. Burnley weren't a great team, but we still drew to all of them. So, it goes to show, right? It goes to show that if we turn up, we play, which we're going to talk about a bit more in detail. He plays an attack with Palmer in the 10 and with the 4 that we had yesterday, that there's some good fluid and good chemistry in the act of what we're seeing. So, guys, if you can, please make sure you smash them like button, subscribe if you're new here, and let's cue the intro. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV. I hope you guys are all wherever it is that you may be around the world. Good to see you all that are coming in slowly and surely. Keep smashing the likes, guys, if you can. That massively helps the channel as well. What we saying, guys? How are we feeling after yesterday's performance, right? It was a good one. It was a good one. Leo, welcome in. Steve, good to see you, bro. Thank you for coming in. My prediction was 1-0. Did not expect 6-0 despite the win. Would not get excited till I see consistency. Listen. There's one thing we can't do as fans is get excited from what we've seen. And, it was a good performance overall. It was a good performance to actually see from the club anyway. Big up, Jim. What a win last night. Yes, DOB, what you saying? You good? Good to see you, bro. It was a good performance, and it was a good win for the club as well. So, yeah, it's one that we can actually enjoy, and it leaves us in a very good position. And we're going to talk about the position in the table. We're going to talk about the game in hands. We've got a lot to get into. We've got some tabs to go through at the top. I just need you guys, if you can, for at the moment, to just smash the likes, guys. Share it out as well. We're trying to build up my channel again as well. I'm not doing any more lives on Chelsea Fan TV anymore. That's all sort of moved on from now. So, yeah, unfortunately, I won't be over there anymore, which is a shame. But, yeah, it's nice to actually just be back on my own channel with you guys and to be able to go through stuff. We've got the panel coming on as well. Quite a busy panel, I think, as well. So, lots to get into, lots to discuss. Cole Palmer, what a player. He should be called up for England. He should be, Steve. He's got to be. The argument is, does he play in the 10? Can he get in the 10 role, or does he hold bench? Adele, good to see you, mate. Big up to you as well. Hope you're well. He is a star boy. Up the Blues. Come on, let's go, bros. Let's go. Before we get into the game, Quilio, there's been a lot of talking around Chelsea and the financial element, and Chelsea being in a bit of trouble, and a lot of people talking about this football club being in a lot of trouble, either in this next financial year or even the next upcoming years. And there was a report or an interview which involved David Ornstein, which was put on Twitter with the NBC Sports. Yeah, I think it was yesterday at the time. And he comes out and confirms the following. I can't play the video because obviously for copyright reasons, but he goes on to say how Chelsea are compliant with the Premier League financial rules. And that goes to say how Chelsea are compliant with the Premier League financial rules. The fact that 2 hotels need to be sold, for example, to comply with the financial fair play regulations and PSR, I've got to the point that Chelsea are compliant. And that is the bottom line here. And listen, there's been a lot of talks. Martin Ziegler, financial experts, speaking about the Chelsea being in a little bit of trouble, maybe having a bit of an issue trying to get rid of players before reporting their financial year at the end of June 30th as well. But in the move of selling assets that are actually from subsidiaries, or having the subsidiaries to buy the assets of the club, has allowed us to alleviate it's allowed us to alleviate the issue we had, which was probably breaching, to be quite honest with you. Can we continuously keep doing that, moving along in this model? I don't think so. Listen, we own properties, we own assets. Yes, we could sell them, we could do this, we could do that. But for Todd Bowley to come out and say that we will We will be abiding by the PSR rules for the next 3 years. It tells me that, it's on our minds, it's definitely on our minds. Vincent, how are you, bro? Adele, good to see you. Jay Anderson as well. Big up to you, bro. Hope you're all right, guys. Guys, keep doing me a favor if you can. Smash the like buttons if you can. It allows to get new people in and it forces it through the algorithm, guys. We're trying to build the channel up again slowly and surely. The blue co-leaders believe that they will be fully compliant until the cycle, the 3 year to the June 2024 cutoff, which is what Ormsteen says here. So Chelsea seem to be all right for this financial year, is what we're being told right now. It's just what we do moving forward. And the lack of getting European football in the long run could definitely hurt the football club. However, there's still an opportunity for us to even do that this season. And this is where we're going to get into the next part of it. Because I don't want to stick on to the financial element of things. We do quite a lot of speaking about the financial side of Chelsea, this, that, and the other. But it's more about what's going on the pitch and where we are currently at the moment. And obviously, Con came out with this comment, which says Chelsea are now 3 points off 6th with a game in hand on Newcastle and Man United with a better goal difference than Man United as well. And then obviously when you look at, where is it? I'll pull it up 1 second. Let's have a look at it. We've got to have a look at it. Let's have a look. I did. So when you look at where we currently find ourselves at the moment, after that comment from Con, to how many games we have left as well, and you see that we're sitting 9th. Okay, it feels like we've been stuck there for a long time, but you look at the points that we're on. Our goal difference is very good compared to West Ham and Man United's. We're on a +9 at the moment, as with others, they're on a -6 and a -1 in front of us. West Ham, West Ham and Man United are anyway. That will get us ultimately to 7th. But then the issue you have is a goal difference that Newcastle have, which is a very strong goal difference. However, we do have that game in hand. And winning that game in hand will take us up to 50 points and in front of Manchester United in 7th, but on the same points as Newcastle. And then there's obviously a 10-point gap between them. Now, can we do it? Who knows? Who ultimately knows what's going to happen? We've got 2 games in hand on West Ham, by the way. I just looked as well. They played 33 games this season. Wow. Okay, interesting. So, there's lots to still play for. We've got the FA Cup as well, which is ultimately around the corner as well. It's true that Ziyech will return in the summer. Hopefully not. Yeah, to be sold. Just be welcome. Big up, Jim. Our gaming hands are against Spurs and Arsenal, though. Yes, there are games that we may probably struggle in as well. However, from what we've seen of Chelsea this season up against the bigger teams, and this is a slight positive to it, we seem to play quite well. And obviously, Arsenal at home, when we were battering them 2-0 up to the 70th minute until we made that incident, that incidental mistake as a team, allowed us to, allowed them to get back in the game, and ultimately ended up drawing the game 2-2, which sucked. To be quite honest with you, it absolutely sucks. Guys, if you're new here, please give me a follow. Please hit the likes as well, guys. We're just trying to build up the live again. If we can do that, that'd be amazing. There's over 30 people in the building already. Chelsea boy, good to see you, bro. I hope you're well. Big up, Jim. Sheffield United. Burnley choke makes it even more frustrating. It does, and it hurts more. But this is where we go on to the next part of what we're going to talk about. And the next part of what we're going to talk about is the fixture list, because we've already seen that we're X amount behind on goals. On points. We know that we've obviously got the goal difference to our favour in front of West Ham and Man United. But what is Chelsea's next 4 games? Well, Chelsea's next 4 games, before I do that, welcome in Mr. Ads, aka Forward, Cole World. Good to see you, bro.
Yeah. Good to be seeing, bro. Good to be seeing, man.
Good to see you, man. Good to see you. So we're just quickly before we get into the game, we're just going through where we are with everything, where we stand and stuff like that. Obviously, we're sitting behind West Ham and Man United with a game in hand. Win the game in hand, we go above Man United in goal difference, and then we're on the same points as Newcastle in 6th as well if we win the game in hand, and that will ultimately, they'll have to lose a game for us to go above because they've got a better goal difference. When you look at our next couple of games. The big game in the FA Cup at Wembley, Man City, is this Saturday up against them, which, we will see what happens, really and truly. I think we will go back to a 3 in midfield. We'll talk more about the Man City game. I will be doing a match preview to that. I will be doing a match preview to that, guys. So we'll definitely talk before the end of the week on the Man City Chelsea game. I think it's worth us getting into it. And then we go into our game in hands. And on Tuesday, which I really think is a bit unfair, 3 days later, we go to Arsenal. Now, they're not in the greatest of form at the moment, but they also have Bayern Munich themselves away to play. So Bayern Munich away, and then I think they've got a Premier League game before they obviously play us. I can't remember who they've got, but let's see how they get on in their next 2 games. But that game there is one of our game in hands. And if we can get a point away against Arsenal, I'm not going to say we can't do it, because there's a good chance we might be able to bring, like we did against Spurs that time when they were on the charge to win, and Hazard done that crazy, pick the ball up from the halfway line, skin Kyle Walker and linked with Diego Costa, and bang, it could be one of them moments with Cole Palmer again. Who knows? But we go in after the Arsenal game, we've got Villa and then we've got Spurs. So our 2 game in hands with Spurs and Arsenal are within the next 4 games that we've got coming up, which means we're going to have to take our opportunities. Where we've mucked up here is dropping points against the Sheffield Uniteds and the Burnleys. If we'd have got maximum points in them 2 games that we've just gone past, and we won one we did yesterday, we'd have had 9 points. We'd have been in front of Newcastle in 6th, and we would have been about 6 points off Spurs in 5th. That's how mad it is. That is literally how mad it is. That's how much it could have changed for us if we'd have took opportunities. So we're going to have to do it the hard way. It's a very daunting fixture when you look at it. Forward, before we obviously talk about the game, good to see you. Hope you're well. Arjan, good to see you. Stephen, everyone, welcome in, guys. Keep smashing the likes. Chelsea's up and coming matches. Obviously, we've got the big FA Cup game, and then Arsenal, Villa, and Tottenham. It's not an easy fixture list, is it, for us?
No, it isn't, and that's why it was important that we picked up points in these most recent games, because it was an easier sort of run of games before the end of the season, and we've done that. We put ourselves in a decent position. It could have obviously been better if the Sheffield and Burnley games went a different way, but for where we are now, it's we at least have some momentum, which is obviously good, and we're coming off our best league result of the season, going into the FA Cup semi-final. So you can't really ask for too much more than that. And this is like the final sort of test of the team. It's been a pretty horrendous season by all like measurements, however you want to assess the season. But we're here now. It is actually an opportunity to get top 6 and European football that isn't Conference League. And of course, there's still a cup to be played. There's still a cup to fight for. And again, the FA Cups will be a big trophy for this team right now in our process. So let's see. It's interesting. We're going to find out a lot about these players, about Poch. In fact, no. Let me rephrase that. We already found out a lot about these players on Poch this season, but this FA Cup and potentially getting 6 is a really, really good way to try and add a bit of gloss to what's been a quite poor season. But again, if they do it, if we come away with an FA Cup 6th place and we do really well in these run of fixtures as well, then listen, that is a very good way to be like, as bad as the season was, we did something great at the end. So let's see.
Yeah. United and Newcastle have easy games than us. Unfortunately, only 8th is possible, is what Ashraf says. He thinks that we're going to lose, draw, win. I asked you guys in the chat as well. There's nearly 40 people in there. What's your thoughts on this up-and-coming fixture list, guys? Are you confident in any W's in there? You think we can lose, draw? I mean, I'm going to go with this. Are we talking about the Man City game as well? Therefore, we have to. It's there.
We have to.
I think we're going to beat Man City in the FA Cup. I've just got a weird feeling. And if we beat Man City in the FA Cup, we're going to win the FA Cup this time, because we're not going to 2 finals and losing. No. I mean, we could.
I mean, we've done it before as well,
Yeah, we've done it before. And but ultimately, if going to 2 finals and losing would be chaos.
It would.
I'm going to say a W against Man City. I think it might go to extra time, though. Arsenal, I think we're going to draw. I think it's going to be a draw. I think we're going to set up to be hard, to be broken down. Aston Villa away, I think we're going to beat them. We beat Aston Villa 4-0 last time we went there, didn't we? Or was it 4-0 or something? So they're going to want to be a revenge.
Yeah, I think 3 or 4-0, yeah.
That was a cup game, wasn't it? I think it was, yeah. So, I'm confident that we can go and do a job there, especially if we play and he sets us up correctly. I think we can win that. And Spurs, I never fear Spurs. W. So for me, beat Man City, draw of Arsenal, beat Aston Villa and beat Tottenham. That's 3, 6, 7 points in the Premier League. What could it probably be? I probably think knowing Chelsea, we'd probably draw with Arsenal, end up losing to fucking Villa, and then beat Spurs. That's the way we seem to play with our inconsistencies. But forward, what are you saying? What do you think? Next 4 games.
It's techie, right? Because even before this recent run of games, like if I saw this fixture list, I'd have been like, oh, we'll lose to City, we'll lose to Arsenal, we'll lose to Villa, and then probably draw against Tottenham. Like honestly, because again, our form has been not great, and while we do perform in some big games here, which is cool, we ultimately don't always come away with the results, especially in big games, like especially wins, right? There's been some good draws which we can like be like, that was a good point, especially with the performance as well, given where we are this season, but.
Yeah.
Are we actually getting over the line in these big games? We haven't. The only big game we won this season was Man United, and again, I give the boys credit for that. And because of that, I feel a bit more confident going into these games against the bigger teams, which is cool.
Yeah.
Like that's cool, and obviously I'll give you my predictions now. But again, I'm still not fully confident in these boys because Man United was cool. We shown that we can do it, but that's the only time we've done it against a big 16 this season. Again, there was a Tottenham win, but again, 9 men. There was a bit of a weird weirdness with that game. But yeah, my predictions. I'm gonna have City winning. Unfortunately, I think they're gonna win a narrow game. I think we'll turn up. We'll give them a good game like we always have done. But to get over the line against City, I just think it's difficult, man. It's very difficult with the way that they are right now. The only thing that gives me some confidence going into it, and again, we'll preview the game properly on Thursday or Friday. But like they've got the Real Madrid game midweek. Like that's a huge game, the toughest game that they're gonna have all season. Because if they beat Real Madrid, like. But the Champions League is probably going to be theirs, and then they're looking at pretty much a double treble unless we stop them, because I don't know if they're going to be stopped in the league, So hey, it's going to be crazy. Obviously, Tottenham always going to be a tough game for them as well. To be fair, true, but for them to have Real Madrid midweek, we couldn't ask for anything more because we've won 6-0, which is great. We'll get into it. They're going to have Real Madrid midweek, so we have a chance. I think we can give them a good game, but do I back us to get over the line? I'm going to support us to, but I wouldn't bet money on it, So I have us losing that. I have us drawing against Arsenal like yourself. Villa, I have us probably drawing that one as well, if I'm honest. I think I have us drawing that one as well and then beating Tottenham at home. That's what I reckon. I'd hope to be proved wrong. I hope there's a few more wins in there, especially the FA Cup semi-final, but we'll see. We'll see.
That is probably what will happen, to be quite honest with you. But we'll see what happens on that. And let's talk about the game, because that's what we're here to talk to. There's not many positive games that we can really relate to and talk about and get into. And I think what we'll do before we go to, there's like 2 specific players I want to talk about, and then we're going to do player ratings, and we're also going to talk about some other bits and bobs as well. But let's just talk about the game in itself quickly. First of all, I mean, I saw the lineup and I thought, okay, cool. Expected. I thought Gallagher and Caicedo would be the pivot. I was happy he put Palmer in the 10. Mudryk and Madueke, obvious. Chalobah Silva for me was the right choice in my opinion. And people go, but Chalobah, it's a bit dodgy. The reason I said that yesterday in the group chat, they played a lot together, even in previous seasons before the likes of Disassi and Badiashile and this, that, and the other. So I had a bit more confidence in Silva being able to maintain the whole the connection between the two, if that makes sense. Even though it was a little bit shaky in moments in the game, and we was, yes, Pelu, good to see you, darling. Big up to Pelu in the building, and shout out Gold Palmer. Let's go, Pelu. So he set us up in a way where I thought, okay, there's no excuse. We have no reason not to beat this Everton team. They're not good. They're 2 points off getting relegated. We go into the game. He sets us up how I thought he'd set us up, 4-2-3-1 strictly. And in the first 5 or 10 minutes, I thought we looked really shaky. I thought we struggled to get really a hand in the game. I thought Everton were a better team at the time. Yes, Samuel, good to see you. I thought Everton were a better team in the first 5-10 minutes. And then we kind of just found our groove, is probably right. I think Everton maybe handed it to us a little bit because I felt they just weren't fearless of us. They turned up there like, we're going to beat you. That was their attitude. Like, that's what it felt like. Yep. Pressing us high and winning the ball. And you think to yourself, the old Evertons Ads will know as well, like the old Evertons in the past wouldn't come to Chelsea playing like that. They would have just sat back and just defended for their lives and played on counters and maybe beat us 1-0 or 2-0. That's how people used to play against us at the Bridge. Now when teams come to the Bridge, and I don't like it because we used to have that fear factor. And it's a bit like when people go to Man United, they do the same thing to them as well. They come to there and they go, there's not much about them. Let's just go and have it. And we've seen what they've been like in the past. They lose games. They're inconsistent. and let's play, let's press them, and they'll there's a mistake in them, and that's the way every manager sets up against us, and they did. However, we just looked on it yesterday. We all looked on it. Every player looked on it. We picked the ball up. The movements, the 1-2s off the balls, and then the quick transitions in was very important as well. The way that we were linking from Palmer receiving, or Connor or Caicedo winning high, and then moving the ball quickly, not just holding on it and tap like we usually do. Receive, look for runs, and then you had Madueke and Mudryk sort of inverting in and giving you that width. Jackson was doing very well, dropping deep to receive the ball as well. Hey, Josh, big up, bro. Good to see you, man. Thank you. Good to see the boy. Josh the Mod. Robbie, welcome as well. And, Jackson was doing what he does best, dropping deep, receiving, little flicks around players, creating, people running into pockets. It was good to watch. And then the goals come. And look, the first goal was immense, absolutely world-class. And obviously we're going to talk a bit more about individual players and stuff right now. What we're doing right now is just overly in that and overly talking about the 90 minutes. But from 0 to 90, I would say it was a very good performance, but we've done something that we haven't been doing all season, and I've cried for us to do when we've been leading games, and it's killing games off. Yesterday, we killed the game off. We didn't give them a chance to breathe and have a go and score on the back of us scoring and make it hard. We just took it to them, and we continued to take it to them. We continued, and we were merciless, and we killed them in that manner. And I thought it was very good. It was very, very good to watch. I'm tuning to see how we can blame Poch today. I mean, listen,
we will. We will. Listen, don't worry about that.
Yeah. I'd leave that one to ads today to obviously go into. But listen, I thought it was a good performance. I still think, look, if we're going to talk about the overall one, we're going to mention Poch slightly here. I still think his game management and his substitutions were shit. Like really bad. Like, I don't think he's got good in-game management whatsoever, and his substitutions were not very pleasing to me. But anyway, barring that, everything else, Cole Palmer with 4 goals. We're going to talk about that penalty incident in a bit as well. I just thought it was just a very good Chelsea game, and we deserved a game like that. As a club, as a fans, we deserve to watch a game where we can sit back and not pull our hair out for 90 minutes and just enjoy some football. And I mean, I pass it on to Forward now for him to have his say. But I mean, do you agree, Forward, with most of that?
Yeah, just my overall synopsis of the game is that I agree with what you're saying, and pretty much from surface view, it was a perfect day at the office, and we have rarely, in fact, never said that this season. I can't remember if we ever said it even last season. Like, we actually had a perfect day at the office in the Premier League. Maybe other than one little skirmish, which of course we will talk about. But other than that, no. Like, obviously the penalty incident I'm referring to. But no, other than the first 5 minutes, which you're right, we did look a bit shaky. And remember, I even messaged you I messaged everybody in the GC saying that, like, Everton are coming on to us. Like, here, like, again, we haven't played a lot of teams that have just gone to low block us, like in the recent games, right? At the start of the season, there was a lot of that. Again, the likes of Forest, Luton, Burnley, all these other teams that were like just coming to just park a bus against us. Even Aston Villa actually not Aston Villa. Not on a Forest. I think I might have mentioned it. But again, a lot of teams are just doing that. They were just parking the bus against us. Teams of recent haven't been doing that. They've been coming on to us, and those first 10 minutes were pretty frantic. They were pretty frantic. We created some chances, but they had some chances too. Gusto had a few, like 3 or 4, which I counted 4 sloppy giveaways in like the first 10 minutes. It was just weird. Like, Jackson had one. We had a couple close calls, especially the better chance which came from one of Gusto's giveaways. They had an overlap on our left-hand side. Crossed it in, Beto missed an open goal. And again, that could change the whole complexion of the game. So, fortunately, that didn't happen. But after that, Palmer gets his goal, and it's an amazing goal to open up the game. And again, this is something that we've been talking about all season, which is that sometimes we can start games well, but this game we had some attacking impetus. We also had some shakiness a bit at the back. But again, generally speaking, we start games and we normally start with creating some clear opportunities. And the issue, especially at the start of the season, is that we wouldn't take these chances. And the case would be that as we go on into the game, whether it's poor in-game management or players getting tired, we just don't have those same opportunities later on, which is why you need to take the game by the scruff of the neck and you need to put the ball in the back of the net. And Palmer did that in the most finesse, beautiful, like pure football. Like the pure football in that goal was just unreal. Like, that's one of the best goals. It's one of the best goals I've seen just from a technicality point of view since Hazard, because nobody else has had the ability to like in one motion, flick it around the corner with a back heel. No, sorry, nutmeg the man first of all. Again, he nutmegged Big Braithwaite that everybody's been
Does it all
gassing
the
up for the whole
time.
season. Yeah, and
He
again,
does.
he started that game off with a nutmeg, so you knew what Cole Palmer was on today. You knew he was on smoke yesterday, innit? And again, he nutmegged Braithwaite. He's been having a very good season by all accounts, but nutmegged him. Then a little skill move to then drag it back heel it then into Jackson in one movement, then get ready for the 1-2, and then pass it into the far corner. It was beautiful, just a goal full of pure magic, and it's what you want to see from Cole Palmer, who again we will talk about in more detail. But again, we had that goal,
wasn't it? I mean, the way he arrived in, like it was the instinct to know that if Jackson's shot comes and deflects his back to be, it was like Lampard-esque. That makes sense, like the way he arrived in the box. I was like,
yeah, he's following in and he's sniffing out danger, which is what you want from someone who's playing in a number 10. We've been talking about it all season that we want our number 10, if he's in there, to be getting in amongst the goals. Like having only 3 goals from our previous number 10, who we will talk about, for the whole season isn't good enough. Palmer matched that goal tally in that first half alone, getting 3 goals, which again, it was a great move as well that led up to that, which again I loved.
Yeah.
The third goal, again, just a moment of absolute genius from Palmer. Not just the finish, but he actually sniffed out the danger, intercepted the ball, and then chipped Pickford from 40 yards with his weaker foot. Like, that's some real G shit, bro. Like, not many players in the whole league can do that. Like, you can say, oh, I can bet on this guy to chip a goalkeeper from 40 yards on his weaker foot. It's crazy, crazy talent, man. So again, that's what you need. You need your players with X factor to produce those moments that help you just ice the game, and that's what we did. The football after that was sensational. Again, after, like I said, after the first 10 minutes, which had some shaky moments in it, we were assured, we were confident, we were bopping the ball well. I like that. Obviously, we went 4-0 up. And even in the second half, then we got the 5th and 6th goals. So we didn't just rest on the laurels. We got the goals as well, which is great. And more importantly than that, we actually were defensively assured. We kept Petrovic work to a minimum, and we actually ended up getting a clean sheet, which is fantastic. So again, like I said, perfectly at the office, other than the skirmish, which we will talk about. But it was actually that moment. Like it was great, and made it even sweeter because I spent the whole weekend cussing my rivals. Some of them who were bottling leagues, bottling also their matches midweek as well in Europe. So it was great to then have that. They're like, okay, but you bums are going to play on Monday and you're going to probably lose to Everton at home. And I said, there's a good chance of that because we've been not in great form. But the boys proved me wrong. I loved it. I loved everything about the game.
We deserved it. We deserved it. That's what it was. We deserved
we've not had enough of those days as Chelsea fans. We've not had enough of those days as Chelsea fans. So we all had that yesterday, and we should all enjoy it because it was great to watch.
100%. What about let's talk about the negatives before we get into the positives, shall we? That's probably the best. I don't really want to talk about the negatives. I mean, there might be some more negatives on the way when we talk about player ratings, but I want to talk.
Yeah, but we have. But just quickly, we have to talk about this because everybody is talking about this moment. Like, I think it was one of like just the most viral moments in the whole league, not just for our club, but for the whole league. Like, we've rarely seen anything like that happen, you know. And it was a big episode that everybody was talking about. It was going viral on Monday Night Football as well. So we not being negative talking about this. Everybody's talking about this, so we got to talk about it.
Look, my first opinion on it is I think Poch should have just made it very clear the first time round we had a little moment where this happened. I can't remember who it was, if it was Jackson or if it was who it was at the time. But there was a moment. And then obviously it happened again. But this time it was like, obviously Palmer went down in the box, got taken out, but then Madueke did. And I think Madueke's reaction was on the back of he thought he got the penalty because it was given because of his foul. But it wasn't his foul the reason that it was given. It was Palmer's foul. The reason that was given, as confirmed by VAR after. Now, obviously, Madueke picked the ball up at the beginning and he's shuffling with Jackson for someone. They're both arguing about it. He's saying, I want it. I'm taking it. Jackson's probably saying, I'm the striker. I need the goals, whatever, you know, having it. And I think, look, there's wanting to take responsibility, which I get, but then there's also looking like an idiot. You know, and the idiot bit came because of the how long they dragged it on, and they continued and it all continued to the point where the refs are actually waiting for us to put the ball down on the spot, and it gets to this picture, which is Cole Palmer's got the ball. He's took the ball off Madueke. Jackson comes over, slaps it out of his hand, literally slaps it out of his hand, and you're just like, what are you doing? And then obviously Gallagher's then pushed him off, as you can see, like, what you doing? Like, Gallagher, it was good Gallagher was there. Actually, big up Gallagher for that, dealing with this situation. Pushed him off and said, like, Palmer's our penalty taker. Madueke's still sulking about it. And then, all right, they walk off. Madueke kind of shakes it off after, but Jackson's still going on about it. Why Palmer's taking his penalty. And even when he scored the penalty, he's still going on about it. And I'm just like, Jackson.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, grow up, bro. If it was me and I'm Pochettino or I'm Jem and I'm the manager of Chelsea Football Club and I'm seeing two players fighting with the guy that's nearly scored 20 goals a season and is our penalty taker who takes our penalties, I would have subbed them off. I would have been brutal. I'd have been like, you off. Because you can't act like that on the pitch. And yeah, people go, well, you've got too many young players. This is your fault. This is what happens. No, it doesn't happen. Even with young players. You know, there should be boundaries. There should be rules set. And obviously, Pochettino's done that after the game because he's come out and said and told them all, never again. And I get that. Palmer's our taker. But it should never have got to that in the first place, you know, in my opinion. And it's just utterly just like, it killed the whole, like, it didn't kill it, but it put the bitter taste in my mouth after a very good performance and watching them play to them doing stupid things like this. And you're like, Palmer's having to push him off the ball. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like, you know, it was just embarrassing and pathetic. This is probably the best words. I mean, what do you mean forward?
Yeah, hundreds. Listen, I fully echo your sentiment, bro. It's embarrassing. It's pathetic. It's a disgrace to the club. Again, the fact that people who are representing this club, not just at youth level, but not just at under 20 level. This isn't just a friendly. This isn't just a gimme match. This is Premier League match. We're live on TV. This is the main team, and these guys are acting like absolute insubordinate kids. Like literally, just the immaturity levels were unbelievable. Like I wouldn't even expect it from like an under 12s game. Like it's actually embarrassing beyond belief to the point where I feel like there needs to be actually the apology sent out to like the fans because you can't be having that. Like you literally cannot be having that. Again, we're going to talk on the ugly twins here, right? And listen, you know, I'm a pretty big fan of Nico, right? In general, I think he's been a good signing for his fee, right? Compared to other strikers that we've seen bought for twice the fee. If you look at the likes of Højlund and Nunes, right? He was good for the money that we bought him for. He's had to do more of a job based on like his wage and his money. You wouldn't think he would be playing pretty much every single week. So yeah, as a player, I like Nico. I think he links up play well. He had a really good game yesterday as well. His finishing leaves a bit to be desired, although we saw the goal yesterday. It was world class. But again, just sticking to this incident here, right? Again, my head was gone. Like again, I didn't fully see it live because I had to go out quickly, and then I came back in and I saw everybody just like online in the GC, people talking about what the hell happened there. That was crazy. That was embarrassing. And I watched it back in full, right? And again, just to break it down fully. So obviously, like you said, the penalty is given for the foul on Noni, which ended up not being a foul, but they give the penalty anyways for Palmer, right? So Noni thinks he's got the like, oh, I won the penalty, so I'm gonna take the penalty. Which again, you're 3-0 up or 4-0 up at the time, cool. You may want to take the penalty, but again, if there's a penalty taker, you ask him that. You'd be like, yo, can I take this? And if he says, yeah, cool, take it, cool. If he says no, I want it, you give him the ball and you walk away and you don't say nothing. You shut your mouth up, and it's just as simple as that. That's what the status quo should be. But he's there saying, I want the ball, I'm going to take it. And then it gives Jackson the belief that, oh, I want to take it. And they're fighting over it. And it's just fucking embarrassing. So embarrassing. And then that happens. Then Thiago Silva like grabs both. No, at first Gusto has it. Noni snatches it from him. Then Jackson and Noni are fighting. Then eventually Thiago Silva comes in like the big brother, like the uncle here, like, yo, you man them, just chilling it. And for a second, it seemed like, okay, Jackson kind of understood, okay, fine, let Noni have it, whatever. Palmer gets up from his injury and he's like, okay, yo, bro, give me the pen in it. And obviously, respect to Gallagher, right? Because he at least tried and he was trying to like be the captain, the leader on the pitch. And I'm not going to shade Gallagher in any way. He did what he could. Obviously, again, we know he's not like a proper captain. We know he's not prime John Terry. You know he's not that kind of guy, Lampard, or even like other guys you have captain, not just their club, but their country. Like Ivanovic, Johnny Obi Mikel, Ballack. He's not these guys, of course. So they don't respect him in the way that they should, which is, again, is partly down to the recruitment and all of these things that we have such an inexperienced squad. However, again, what Jackson did was embarrassing. The fact that then Noni was even upset after Gallagher said that, no, give the ball to Palmer. Jackson's there throwing a fit as well. Crazy. Both of them embarrassing. But again, people said, how am I going to put this on Poch? I will tell you how I'm going to say we won 6-0 and I'm still angry at Poch, because you had plenty of opportunities through the season to make it clear there's a clear penalty taker and what the protocols are. Again, penalties are Palmer's department. He's in control. If you want to take his role, you ask him. And if he says no, it's done. You don't try and take initiative and say, oh, I'm going to take it. No. You let him tell you, oh, you know, I'll let you have the penalty because I've already scored a couple. No, if he wants to score more, let him score more. He's in a golden boot race, for God's sake. Let him do what he wants to do. But again, it's embarrassing from Poch because we had the incident against Arsenal earlier in the season when I think it was Enzo trying to tell Sterling that no, Palmer's going to take the penalty. And there was one a few weeks ago against, I don't know who it was, whether it was Leicester or Leeds in a cup or maybe a league game, right? And then you remember it, you probably remember it well, maybe better than me, Jim, that I think it was Noni that was trying to get the penalty off of Palmer. And obviously, Noni took one before against Palace late in that game, and fair play, you scored. But again, like I've been saying, it's for the penalty taker to say, oh, if I want to give it to somebody, I'll let them take it. And this is what I have to be on Poch because we've had these incidents through the season, whether it was the Arsenal one, the one in recent game when Noni tried to take it from Palmer and Palmer said no. As a manager, for me, it's embarrassing that you don't see these opportunities and be like, look, let me tell the boys straight away what it has to be. Because afterwards, he came out and he said that, oh, I had to tell the boys now that I don't accept the situation. I'm sorry, but you're a fucking bitch. You had plenty of opportunities through the season to let these men know what needs to happen in these situations. And the fact that you let them go and embarrass the whole club like that, and now add this bit of shame and like this kind of bitter taste of what was a perfect day other than that, really. We won 6-0, amazing. But you're letting them embarrass the club that and show their inexperience. And again, this is what I keep saying with Poch, is that these guys who were clearly too young, this isn't quite the right squad balance and all of these things that we talked about. However, with a team that's this young and inexperienced, you need a proper leader of men to get these guys in order. You don't need a pally guy to be like, oh, it's okay. Oh, you guys made a mistake, but it's fine. Now I won't accept it. No, be militant. Be on these kids' case and not allow them to be doing fucked up shit like this because it's not right. It's part of why we've been so inexperienced and let so many leads slip in the league and be poor like we have been and be inexperienced in so many things. This just shows it. So again, I don't want to ramble on too long because again, it was a largely positive day, but this thing irked me so badly because it was embarrassing. It took so clearly about how we built an imbalanced squad in terms of just lacking experience. And then we have and then we compounded that mistake by bringing in a manager who isn't, again, I don't really like Arteta, but you look how Arteta set a culture and he said all these buzzwords like non-negotiables and all these things. And he set really hard precedents on the likes of Aubameyang, Ozil, and a lot of these guys. And he was strict. And listen, you may not like his style of play. You may think, oh, he's bottled leagues and all of these things. Cool. But at least he's took Arsenal from being a shit team in eighth, twice eighth, finishing eighth, and now they've been in title races, right? So you can at least respect that he's done something to improve them, right? And he set a culture which you can clearly see. Poch hasn't done that with these kids, and they need somebody at least with that certain. I'm not going to say Arteta is a great coach or anything, but in terms of like setting a culture, that's what these young players need. That's what they need, and Poch hasn't done that, which is why we see embarrassing moments like that.
No, and I hear that, and I agree, and I actually think you're right. I think there should be rules set and statements and stuff, and people should be, you know, managers should really make it clear. Captain, penalty taker, free kick taker, corners, like, you know, you have your like base, you know what's going on, you know. I agree. I just think it was just wrong and embarrassing. And it was funny. Someone mentioned it earlier actually to me. They said, "Can you imagine if Nkunku was fit and playing? Would Palmer have half the goals that he has now? Because Nkunku probably would have took our penalties potentially. You know, I think
there's a good chance of that. Yeah, there's a good chance of that. But I feel like once Palmer was already like on penalties and taking the big ones, especially ones against like Man City, Arsenal earlier in the season, then I don't think Nkunku would have took him off penalties at that point. So I think it's one of them. But just to answer a question in the chat, in the live chat, Palumi Nova said that, oh, this isn't on Poch, and he says that we have to like it's more on the players where their lack of accountability. Like I agree that we have to obviously look at the players, and again, I'm blaming Nico for acting like an absolute petulant child. Noni, I thought was better than that. I thought Noni was more of a team player than that, based on like interviews that he's done, the fact that he knows Palmer so well from the youth setup that the England youth setup, that I don't think he would do something like that. So of course I'm angry at them, but again, Palumi, I have to ask you, bro, do you think this would happen with Man City with Pep? It wouldn't happen. Other serious clubs, this would not happen with serious managers in charge. And I'm sorry, Poch is not a serious manager, and this is just another example of that.
100%, 101%. And look, I don't want to sit on it for too long because we've still got to get into player ratings, player discussions, and go through all of that as well. You know, that's something we want to get into. And now I kind of want to move from it, but I do want to speak about one player because he deserves to be spoken about, and it is the guy that is joint top golden boot with Erling Haaland at the moment. Oh God, where's all these? There we go. Who remembers this day? Who remembers it? Because I remember going back, thinking about it. And I think he deserves to have a little special mention before we go into player ratings. I know he's going to pop up in it, but at least if we talk about him a little bit, nice. We signed him for 40 million plus 5 million add-ons. exclusive deal. And a lot of us were in the unknown. What are we doing? Why are we doing it? This, that, and the other. Joe Shields, who's probably probably the only decent recruiter we've got in that board at the moment, was the one that managed to get this deal done, along with the Lavia deal, by the way. At the beginning, it was very like, what are we going to do with Cole Palmer? He hasn't played enough in the Premier League. Why are we doing this? Oh, it's just youth FC. What we're doing? Blah, 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 blah. He went from this, which cost us 40 million, by the way, guys, to performances like this. Man's holding the ball. He's got the player of the match. He scored not only a hat-trick, he scored 4 goals in a game against Everton. That's his second hat-trick, by the way, guys. This is his second hat-trick this season at the club as well. Second hat-trick this season at his club as well. Okay.
In a row, Jem. In a row. You're missing that, bro.
In a row. Okay. In a row. Big up Don as well.
Big up.
And I'm just going to fly through this before we talk about him. He's also registered the fewer big chances missed than any other player inside the Premier League in the top 25 scorers so far this season. That's no fluke. That is just no fluke, because that's a stat you cannot fluke completely.
That's actually crazy.
Which is an absolutely crazy stat. When I saw it, I was like, I am bringing this up because that is mental. I didn't even know that, right? And then to finish it off with that, just to break down what he's actually done across all comps at the moment: 29 goal assists in 28 Premier League games, 4 goal assists in 6 EFL Cups, and 3 goal assists in 5 FA Cup appearances. World-class season. I think that's an understatement for the numbers. I mean, Don's here. We'll start with Don on this. Don, Cole Palmer. I mean, we're going to get into player ratings, but specifically, I feel like we need to talk about Cole Palmer, because you was one, probably I'd say the one that was very confident when we signed him, and a lot of us were a bit like, well, we don't know what to expect.
Skeptical.
You know, he was unsure, and obviously he's come in and he's over-exceeded. Let's be serious. He's over-exceeded. He's over-exceeded what he's done. So, I mean, what do you say about Cole Palmer, mate, this season?
Bro, what can I say that I haven't been saying, man? From day one, like you said, Jem, listen, he definitely has over-exceeded what I expected from him. I expected him to come in and ball out. I expected him to put up GNA. But to this extent, I didn't see it. I'll be real. Maybe because, I didn't expect this many injuries. I thought maybe he would get rotated certain games. I knew he would get into the 11 because he's definitely got the ability. And like I said in the summer to you guys, every time I'd watch this guy for Man City, he never looked out of place. That was the main thing. There was this narrative every single time with Man City that they've got a B team. And Cole Palmer was one of the front line in the B team. The Carabao Cups that they used to win. Remember, they won like 4 in a row. He would play in that competition to help them win it. In the FA Cup, he would make appearances there. In the league, obviously, he would never get a start. And I kept banging on about this in the summer because people are like, he hasn't even got one Premier League goal. He's barely played in the league. And I'm like, bro, the guy's literally got Bernardo Silva ahead of him. He's got Mahrez ahead of him, right? These are top world-class players. And Foden was ahead of him as well. And Foden wouldn't even start most of those games as well. He would have to come off the bench, right? So Palmer was like 4th choice, And I said, listen, this guy just needs the platform because the quality is there. Yeah, the quality is there. All he needs is a platform to show how good he is. But you wouldn't know that unless you watch him, right? But like I said, I watched him for England. I watched him for Man City. So, yeah, coming in, I was excited because obviously Nkunku got injured. He was someone that would play in the 10 and play on the wing as well, just like Nkunku. And, there was a lot of people that were saying, why are we spending 45 million on Cole Palmer? This is a lot of money for a guy that's barely played in the league. And I said, listen, how much realistically did you expect City to ask for? Because number one, we're a rival, right? If you think about it, they probably added about 15 million for rival tax. So really and truly, it was probably worth about 30 million because he's barely played. He's barely been a starter for Man City. But they were never going to give him for that much, Jim. Like they're literally giving him to a direct rival, so they had to add rival tax, right? But I was fine with the price. Me and Couch were going back and forth with it. Big up Couch, I see him in the chat, and I was saying, listen, realistically, we're not paying a mad thing. It's not 60 million. It's not 80 million. It's 45. I think in this market, that's quite reasonable, and we can see exactly why. This guy has helped Jackson so much. I actually want to check how many assists and that he's got for Jackson this season, because in my preview, I mentioned about I mentioned about the chemistry between those two. Yeah. And one thing that I spoke about at the start of the season, because if you remember, Cole Palmer wasn't starting start of the season, he wasn't starting games, bro. Yeah. His first starts was when we played Brighton in the Carabao Cup, And then he started against Fulham when we played Fulham away, and I was at that game as well. And he scored a penalty that game, and he got the assist for Broja's goal, in that game as well. And one thing I kept saying before that was our team, people say we create chances, but we're not creating clear-cut chances for the attackers. That's why these guys keep missing. You literally need to feed them. And that's what Cole Palmer does. He creates chances which are just brilliant chances. You know what I'm saying? The way his weight of pass, the way he does it, it's so good, bro. It's so good on the ball. Like I've said, the way he drops his shoulder, the flicks. He's shown the flick on numerous occasions now. How many players has he put on their bum this season? I can think of Middlesbrough. I can think of yesterday. I can think of Dallo, what he did to him the other week. Do you know what I mean? So this guy's only going to get better. And one thing that I'm really excited about, Jem, he's literally going bar for bar with Erling Haaland right now. He's left Jude Bellingham in terms of the GNA, most GNA under 21 players in the league. But he's doing this with our B team, bro. Yeah, you can even argue C team, because some of these guys ain't going to be here in the summer, right? So he ain't even playing with an Osimhen. He ain't even playing with a Reece James yet. Him and Gusto have had a good relationship.
Nkunku for that. He ain't even had to play with Nkunku.
Bro,
converted a lot more. Listen, Nkunku would have converted a lot more assists for him this season if he was on the pitch.
Jem, there is a 4.5 minute compilation of Cole Palmer, basically majority of the clips, just creating for guys, and they keep missing. And the chances that they're missing are chances that a striker is burying, bro. Yeah, give them to Erling Haaland. I know Erling Haaland isn't that clinical. He's a good finisher, but he needs a couple chances to bag a few. Yeah, if Cole Palmer was feeding Erling Haaland this season, he's sitting on more than 20 goals this season, bro. Because some of the chances I'm seeing these guys missing when I'm watching the clips, I'm like, yo, you lot should be burying that. Do you know what I'm saying? So listen, this guy's gonna be, we need to build. We need to keep building around him. We need to fix up in the summer, because we can't let a player like Cole Palmer, we can't let him down the same way we let Hazard towards the end of his career at Chelsea. The recruitment for Hazard was so poor towards the end of his time at Chelsea. Hazard should have won a lot more at Chelsea. Same thing as Kante. They should have won a lot more. So we need to show Cole Palmer.
Sorry, bro. Just to that point, but we have to. Otherwise, he will leave, because unlike Hazard, he's got that ability. He's got that. I don't want to say the word aura, because that word's becoming cringe now. But he's got the the character, the personality, that belief in himself, confidence is the word I'm looking for. But he knows he's that good that he will just leave if it's not working for him here, because he left Man City. He left the treble winners because he was like, I want to play more games. The Pep's like, I'm not going to loan you, so either stay or leave. And he called his bluff. And he's like, cool, fine, I'll leave. I'll go join Chelsea and I'll go be the main man there. And what's he done? Come and done. Well. He's come here and been the main man on a next level that not many of us didn't expect.
Crazy, bro. It's crazy, bro.
Testament to Palmer. Go on, this guy, 21 years old, first ever Premier League season. First ever. Not second, not third. No loans. Straight
first full season. Yeah.
Guy has taken the position he's been put in. He's taken the mantle and he's impressing. And it's not only impressing, he's superseding players who are pros in this league, superseding players who are in established teams, who are better style of football, who are arguably better managers. And he's putting up these numbers. And like we say consistently, Jem, Don, all the time, the eye test matches it too. So it's not just numbers, and he's doing it here and there. The guy, for example, yesterday, obviously recency biased, literally won us the game. Literally. And it's a big shame, because this is what we're having debates before, Jay. I remember ages ago, we were talking about, is it the players? Is it the manager? Is it the injuries? But I honestly believe if we had Palmer, Nkunku, and James and Lavia fit, I honestly think we'd be in the top 4 race. I'm not even joking.
Nah, the level of players we have out is serious. Those 4 players are even.
I can say it with confidence is because we have such a meaty season. And if we had just beaten these teams like Sheffield and Burnley recently, we'd literally be comfortably in 6th.
We'd be 6th. We'd be
comfortably in 6th.
And one thing that I said, listen, with Cole Palmer, that's another thing that I spoke about. You guys saw that he started as a 10 yesterday. And for me, I still prefer him down the middle. And this is the reason why. The way he crashes the box. His pressing is very underrated. Me and Ford was
very.
I'm speaking about forwards. Me and Ads. I'm so used to calling Ads forward. I keep doing it. But me and Ads we've spoken about this consistently throughout the season. The way he presses, bro, and the way he intercepts passes is very smart, because he doesn't make it obvious that he's gonna do it. He even done it to Raya when we played at the bridge. He'll bait you, and then his long legs, he will just leap towards it, and he'll pop it off, or he'll try to shoot, and he'll try to do something. Do you know what I mean? And that's why when people always say, oh, but you need Gallagher for pressing, I'm like, bro, we've got other counter pressers in this team. They might not do it to the same level of Gallagher because he's got 4 lungs, yeah? But they've still got that ability to counter press teams. Do you know what I mean? And in that 10, you could clearly see, bro, this is a guy that connects our midfield and the attack. Do you know what I mean? Against Burnley, we created some good chances and we should have won that game. But if you look at how we were playing overall, we wasn't fluid in the attack. It wasn't that good. You know, it wasn't good to see. It was enough chances to win the game, but the football wasn't good. You know, same thing against Sheffield as well. It was blunt because we had Gallagher left wing. Cole Palmer played poorly that game, but overall we just weren't fluid. But yesterday, bro, look at the attack. Madueke on the right, Mudryk on the left, Cole Palmer in that midfield, like I said, linking the midfield and the attack
as well. That's the first. This is where I bun Poch for this. This is the first time this season that we've played with that front 4 in the Premier League. Get that in your head.
Yeah,
how crazy that is. It's embarrassing.
That's one of the biggest.
Embarrassing.
That's the big criticism I had of Pochettino of not being brave, especially beginning of the season. I don't know. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Is my mic fucked up?
Yeah.
You're good, bro.
Oh yeah, that was one of my big criticisms of him. And we're playing teams like West Ham, and we have like 5 defenders on the pitch. Well, we could easily have wingers to even if people don't rate Mudryk or Nani, they give defenders something to think about. So they have to backpedal. You know, they're taking players out the game that create space for other players. And I also think, not to mention, I think Gusto as well is a big difference for Palmer when he's on the pitch as well. So like if you see that Sheffield United, Gusto running down the flanks, a lot of the time they find each other. They have a great link up. So it's like, I'm just thinking if we actually had like what Chess said, we have Lavia, and Nkunku, Reece James, or even
just those two in particular, we'll be
just those. Like even those two, but when I name those 4, even Wesley Fofana, I think we would definitely have a different season, regardless of what you think of Poch. Those guys add something to the game. You know what I mean? They level rate. They're level rate.
No, I know that.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
I could say confidently that Poch heavily relies on his first team. We saw it under Tottenham. He relies on his first team, his pillars like Wanyama, Dembele, Diezman, Kane. And when he has that team, he does actually perform quite well. So there's the argument to say, if we did have all these players fit, that he would do a lot better. But obviously, our issue is, with these injuries, you've got to like improve. And you've got to be able to adapt your style according to the players you have. And he hasn't done that.
Yeah,
but
100%. 100%.
I just Palmer, because he's performing, linking it back to Palmer, he's performing in a team which has loads of injuries, a lot of instability, etc. And he's still performing, and he's just being cool and collected. You wouldn't even know.
And you know what it is as well.
What you're saying, so let me just come in here quickly, which is that, like, again, what you're saying is absolute facts, that like, players can affect maybe results, for sure, but it shouldn't affect overall how you play. And that's what separates the good managers from the top managers. You actually have a starter player, and they can work with the players that they have. Yeah, you can have maybe, let's say, like, and with fullbacks at centre-back. And obviously it affects how you defend, because they're fullback at centre-back, but it doesn't affect how they play. They still play the same way. So you have to look at that, obviously. And I think with Palmer, the better players, of course, he's going to look better. But we still have to look at what he's doing this season, because what he's doing this season is crazy. And again, Jim, I'm a bit disappointed because you said Don's one of the few fans that said that Palmer, this will be a good signing. He was one of the few fans, but I was also among the few. I was there preaching the Palmer drum. I was saying, like, listen, he
was backing it.
I just want to get my flowers as well, innit? Because I was watching a lot of under-21 football for England, innit? Watching Nani, like, seeing how he was getting on and everything. And Palmer was stealing the show week in, week out. And this boy was crazy. And when I heard we were linked, let me just give my two reserve.
That's what I meant. I mean, like, everyone was a bit like, oh, what do we expect? As like, I feel with Donny, we very like, this guy is this guy, sort of thing. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, but there was a lot of conversations about, oh, is this guy the right kind of 10 and all these things, and there was the comparisons to Elise and these kind of things, and like I was saying, and then there were people talking about, oh, he's not very quick, or he's not mobile, he doesn't move well on the ball. All these conversations, I was like, listen, Palmer's that guy. He's a creator. He will be a player for us. The only reservations at the time was that obviously we're paying quite a bit of money for a guy who hasn't got much experience in terms of men's football, but he was doing it at under 21 level. So I thought, you know what? I'm happy with this guy, even though we're overpaying. I'm happy with it because he's that guy. And then my other thing was that, like, at the time, Nkunku was injured, so I thought we need to go and buy like a proven goal scorer. And I saw Palmer coming. I thought, you know, Palmer's good. He's going to help us create, but he's going to score goals for us. And ultimately, now we're at a point where we can say we haven't had enough goals this season. And despite that, Palmer's got 20 league goals. He's top of the goal scoring chart alongside that poacher that flipping lamppost Haaland. All he does is just score goals in a team that creates multiple chances for this guy. Palmer is top three players. Palmer is top three players in the league this season for me. Top three minimum this season. He's gonna be in the team of the season at right wing because he's been better than Salah. He's been better than flipping Bukayo Milner. No doubt about it. He's been better than both those guys. Right?
It's been better than Bukayo, and he's better than Bukayo.
And he's a better footballer than him. And he's a better footballer. But just let me just finish my mixtape in on Palmer because I've been like so gassed about his performances this season because it's been crazy. And you brought up the stat earlier, Jim, about he's got the fewest big chances missed of any of the of any players in the top 25 goal scorers in the league, and that's very impressive to me because I even feel like his shooting can be better. We've seen him also miss some big chances. I think the ones against Middlesbrough don't count to that stat because obviously they were in the League Cup, but I feel like his finishing can improve, and that's a scary thought because right now he's top of the league. Top of the Golden Boot race, and his shooting can get better, and it will get better.
Do you know why that stat makes sense? Yeah, because if you think about it, one thing that frustrates me a little bit with Palmer, is the guy's got the ability to lace the ball and finish like that because he done it against Luton, he done it against Newcastle. You know, there's been games this year. He done it against who was it that we played the other day when he laced it in the box? Sterling came off the bench. It was against Burnley, innit? Burnley against Burnley.
Yeah, Burnley.
When Sterling came off the bench, he laced it then as well. So he's got the ability to do it. But what it is with him outside the box, he's always trying to be pretty and bend it. You know, finesse R1 circle. You know, that's not. You wouldn't really say that's a big chance. You know, but when you actually see him,
most of his goals, to be quite honest
when you see him actually have big chances, most of them get converted, bro. So I'm not even surprised by that stat that he's only missed 3 big chances because he's not shit in front of goal. You know, he's the way he crashes the box. Yeah, what game was that where he ran towards the front of the box? The near post, and he finished it. What game was that, man? Because there's so many goals now. Do you know what I mean?
There's too many to count. I mean, it's 20.
There's too many. There's too many to count. But this is what happens.
Dan, was it Sheffield at home?
Yes. It was Sheffield at home. Yeah, it was Sheffield at home. So this is what happens. Yeah, when you play your best players in their best positions, right? Your team naturally will play better. And like yesterday, bro, we did not take our hands off their neck, right? And that built confidence because look at Gallagher in the pivot. Yesterday, I was looking at a guy that was confident because the whole team were confident. You know, the momentum was in our hands, right? But when you're playing this laxy-daisy football where it's not fluid and you scored a goal from individual brilliance and now everyone's looking, okay, what do we do next? That's when individual mistakes happen because you're not concentrating, bro. You know, and before you know it, you conceded a goal. Before you know it, another set piece. Do you know what I mean? But yesterday, everyone understood what they need to do because they were comfortable in their roles. And that's what I've been banging on about with Poch. Have a little bit more belief in these guys. Have a little bit more trust in these guys. Do you know what I mean? Because they're the future. Yeah, as much as, you know, we've had world-class players in the past and that's fine. But the reality is this is a squad we're using, Jem. You know what I mean? Make use of it as best as you can.
And also, to be fair, on Declared's point, we have to give Poch praise in terms of we're quick to slate him when it comes to the tactical side of things, but he's improved Gusto, he's improved Palmer, Jackson's had a decent season, so you got to give him praise in terms of his man. I
wouldn't say he's improved Gusto. I wouldn't say he's improved Gusto.
These guys are already balling where they were before. Like I can't give him. I can give him praise for like maybe in this game. I can give him praise for this game the way he set up, even though he was kind of forced to given the injuries and everything. But like I can give him praise in some aspects to say that he's done a good job in some aspects. To say that he's improved these players. They're young players. They were always going to play good to a degree. Like they're young and they're going to improve.
Natural ability.
Gallagher's the one that is improved. Gallagher's the one that is improved.
He's improved Gallagher for sure.
But we're not going to completely say these men just turn up, score 20 goals in the season. Because again, this many assists. It's got nothing to do with the manager.
It was very clear. It was very clear. Look at Gusto. Look at how I was talking about Gusto in pre-season. It was very clear that the guy doesn't need his hand held by the manager. There's certain players that just take accountability and they can do it by themselves because they're that good. And Cole Palmer is one of them. Gusto is one of them. There's certain players like an Enzo, for example. He's not at that level. He's a system player. That's why you need a good coach to make sure that he's using him correctly. But certain man, bro, like I said, Palmer and Gusto, yes, they've been one of our key players, but I wouldn't say Poch has improved them. I'd say Poch has obviously trusted them, but in terms of improving, I wouldn't say he's improved them. These guys were already ballers, bro. You know, it's Gallagher
like,
that has improved. Gallagher's improved a lot.
Like to me, when I look at Palmer, I just think everything he does is instinctual, like coming from him. Like it's not like.
Is he gone? He cut off.
I think so, but I think the point you're trying to make is that Palmer's just born with it, bro. Like he's just got natural ability that's very rare in the league right now, which is lacking a lot of top quality. Like This isn't
And
where the
yeah,
league was a few years ago when it was like Hazard in his prime, Sanchez, Bale. Like right now, the top wingers in the league are who's Salah and Saka, and they've been kind of meaty. And Palmer isn't just getting the GA, which you need to get all the acclaim. He's got the GA, but also the performances have been there from day dot pretty much. Was when he came in against Brighton, got the 2 assists for Nico Jackson. Then he got the assist against Fulham for Broyer's goal, like, and then a penalty as well. Like he's been doing it from day dot, and the consistency's been there. Hardly an off day here and then. Even when he's had off days, he's probably still got GA anyway. So
Yeah, exactly.
you have to big up the boy, man, because he's doing things that few others can do. And I'm saying it right now. He could go to Madrid in a couple of years and light it up there too, which is why we need to be serious and make sure that we build a squad around him so that he can compete for major trophies and be up in the Ballon d'Or list, because he will be in the Ballon d'Or list for next year. He'll be top 15 in the Ballon d'Or list probably, maybe top 20. It could be even higher, and he will continue to be in his rankings if he's in a team that competes for the top trophies.
Yeah,
they're gonna build around Cole Palmer in the future. I think that's something that has to be done. And obviously, like you're right, eventually if he continues, obviously he might not score 20 goals next season and get do the crazy numbers that he's done this season. But if he's in double digits, we've got 2 Xavis in here. What's going on?
Oh, my shit lagged. That one's about to get kicked.
Right. But if he's in double digits, he's still performing, and he's surrounded by a striker, and he's got and there's an Nkunku fit, and I just see it getting better. I just see it just getting in, and this is him like carrying our team, at the moment.
This is my thing though, Jeb, because when I was speaking about when I'm even now, obviously, I've said from early that for me he's a better player than Saka, because I've never put Saka on the platform that fan base puts him on, right? And one of the things that these lot always keep coming back with is, oh, let's see if he does it next season. Let's see if he does this. Let's see if he does that. But if you actually watch how Palmer plays, right, I don't see him drastically, just losing his ability or just, refusing to not get involved in the game anymore, right? One thing that I like about him, one of his strengths, is that he always wants to be involved in the game. He literally came out and said it yesterday. Yeah, that I want to be involved in the game. I want to be on the ball. That's the sort of guy that he is. He's a conductor. Odegaard for Arsenal is a conductor. He is a conductor. And that's why I'm so confident in saying that this is not just a flash in the pan, right? When you watch this guy, you can't look at him and say, oh, it's a purple patch or whatever. This is what he is. This is legit what Cole Palmer is. God forbid he ever picks up like a big injury or something like that. Then it's a different conversation. But for now, like you said, Jem, I can only see him getting better. I don't see him getting worse.
Yeah, that is. We'll have to see what happens in it. This Pot's still going to be in next season. Will depend on FA Cups if we get European football, which are only 3 points off Man United, by the way, in 6. So fair play. We got declared here. Who's here now? He says fair to say Poch has gotten the best out of Palmer, is what he thinks. Which just quickly before because we need to move on, guys. We've got to get on to other players and stuff like that. But do you think a big part of the reason why Palmer's playing so well is to do with Poch, or do you think it's just his natural ability in the position?
Natural ability.
You think it's natural ability? Okay, interesting.
It's like 90% him and then 10% like other
you guys
factors,
have made it to a
include the
point.
team and Poch.
Yeah.
You guys have made it to a point where if all the blame's on Poch and the responsibility of Poch of the players, the point you brought up, right?
Yeah.
Even the fight on the field from young players is on Poch, then by your guys' definition, Poch has improved Palmer. If he has the responsibility, he has the blame for it that you guys have done in the past, then you have to.
Yeah, but what do we mean by saying? Okay, but just to answer you the.
All right, forward. I'll tell you. You blame Poch for the penalty fight, right?
I didn't put full blame on him. I'm saying he's partly responsible for why that happens because again he's not set the discipline in the squad. That's what I'm talking about. But he's partly to blame. Of course, he is partly to blame.
So then we can say he's partially had a play in improving Palmer, yeah.
And that's part of the point I'm trying to get to, right? So like, if you want to say he's improved players, like when people say that he's just broadly improved players, like he's made this player have a career, stuff like that. Like, so that's why I like, okay, if you want to say he's improved him, what percent are you saying that he's improved Palmer? Is it 5%? Is it 10%? Is it 80%?
No, but
what are you saying?
What the
No, but let him answer the question so that we know how much he's attributing to Palmer being what he is now. How much is Poch actually doing to improve him and Gusto? Are we saying it's like 80%? Is that what we're saying here?
No.
What are we saying here?
It actually goes down to how much blame are you putting around, around Poch and everyone else. Like my view is that there is so many problems with this club, right? That mainly in here, it's not mainly everywhere actually. A lot of channels will just be like Poch. Anything Poch. Anything goes wrong, Poch. Even if things are out of his control, Poch. Right? these players have never shown you anything. It's all their first seasons, right? You don't know how good they're going to be. This is the first season in top level, right? For majority of them. So you don't know.
Yep.
You don't know. Maybe the next level of Parma happens next season. On the second season, we don't know. We don't know who had a part to play.
You're not answering his question, Declared. Where you going there? You're going down to Australia.
The question's irrelevant. The question's irrelevant because he's asking.
No, it's not irrelevant.
He's asking me how do I blame? How much do I blame someone? I'm talking about the actual game he got to play.
About blame, bro. I said, how much credit are you giving Poch? Because you just said to me that we're blaming. I'm asking you, how much credit are you giving Poch for what Parma's doing?
No, I'm talking.
Okay. Come on, man. I'm on your side.
I'm not giving anyone credit.
Let me answer you.
Right?
Basically, I'll speak for me.
Okay, then. Cool. You don't want to give Poch any credit for Parma. That's cool. Fine, then. No problem.
I don't want to give anyone credit. It seems a very, like, there's no unity in this club, right? And everyone, you put all these players on 8-year contracts. The managers are... Like everyone's like looking after themselves.
Where are you taking
right?
this, bro?
So wait,
I'm taking it as that.
What's going on there, bro? Declared, you okay?
Declared, what's your answer to? Because I'm not. What is your actual answer?
Can I respond? Because I actually
where you go with it? That's what I'm trying to understand. What is the answer to what you're saying? Because what you're saying now is it's not part of everything.
Can I just say something quickly, right? Can I just say something very quickly? Like, let me just say something very quickly, right? I feel like I get it as fans. Like, we hear a lot of things in these circles and other talks and other spaces, like people say, oh, all these things and they put it all on Poch, it's all on the players. Like, I'm not one of these fans. Again, my thoughts are very clear here, and in the GC, which most of you guys are in, if not all of you guys. So I'm very balanced. I will give Poch credit where he needs credit and criticism where he needs criticism. I feel there's been a lot to criticize this season, but if we're talking about things generally, let's talk to each other here based on what we're saying right now. Okay, like, let's be balanced here, guys. Let's try and have an actual conversation about what we're talking about.
Okay, yeah. So when I put that question forward.
My answer would be to answer Ford's question about percentage of like how much has Poch done for the players, etc. I would say that the same energy you would give for some players being misprofiled and some players not getting opportunity to play, and therefore Poch hindering their ability to thrive in their certain positions, i.e. Enzo in 10, etc. If Palmer's been playing in his right position, he's been doing something in training to help his game, we can't just sit there blindly and say, oh, it's all on Palmer. It's all instinctive. We saw it coming. Yes, you could have seen it coming. Yes, it is instinctive. But at the same breath, with the same energy, we call Enzo, who can't play 10. Why is he playing 10? That's not his game. Palmer's been playing the positions on the pitch, the way he plays, that you can clearly see something's being said because he's consistent over and over and over again. So that's not to say that Palmer hasn't got natural ability. For example, Salah has natural ability. Hazard has natural ability. So even in certain positions, they can do their thing in that role. That makes him exceptional. That's what we're seeing for Palmer today. But that doesn't mean also that he doesn't have a role to play in the team.
Would you say Salah's got natural ability like that?
No, you know what I mean though. Like he's the league goal scorer in terms of. I use an example. This is Hazard because we're all Chelsea fans.
I would if I'm talking about natural ability, I wouldn't use Salah as an example though.
My point wasn't really about.
Hazard's a better example, but
when you're in a role, for example, Hazard. This is Hazard's example because he's more naturally gifted. Okay, he was given a role in 10, mostly left wing. Okay, and within that role, he's got a job to play. But because of his quality himself, he's exceptional at what he does. He could do the added stuff. Okay, on top of what the manager wants him to do, which makes him the player he is today. So Palmer, in my opinion, if we use the same energy for Enzo, why is he playing that position?
Do you know what it is, Chess? I hear what you're saying. I agree. I agree with what you're saying.
By the way, I'm just saying.
I agree with what you're saying. But what I'm going to say is, it's 80% Palmer and 20% Poch. And the reason why I say 20% Poch is because he's used him in his correct position. Yeah, so the basics of football. He's used him in his correct position, and he's given him the free roam to just do what he wants. Yeah, Poch has spoken about it. Palmer has spoken about it numerous times. Even yesterday, again, he flagged it again. Jem, if you want to bring it up, he literally said the manager's just trusting me to go do my thing and free. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing right now, but he's been given the freedom to do that. And ultimately, the reason why is because Poch knows that he's that sort of player that can literally just take accountability and do what he needs to do to get us through the mud, you know. And that's why me and Ads are saying that we don't think that Poch has improved him to that level that Declare tried to, you know, kind of say, no, he has improved him. I think he's obviously helped him. Obviously, he's given him confidence. He's trusted him. But in terms of the ability and what he's doing, That's on Palmer, man. That's just what Palmer does because he's got so much ability, bro. So much natural ability, bro.
I think it's
And just to add quickly to the context as well. That's not to say that across the board for every single player he's only helped them 20%. Like again, we mentioned Gallagher. In Gallagher's case, you can maybe mention that maybe over 50%, maybe 70%. He's worked hard to get Gallagher better because he's got more out of Gallagher than Tuchel did, than Potter did for sure. Like 100%. Like Gallagher's doing things I don't think he could do in terms of midfield and being an influence on the game, either in the pivot or in the 10. I don't think he's great in the 10, but I'll give Poch credit for trusting him how he has, and he's obviously improved him in that sense. Of course, Poch has trusted other players, and also we've had injuries, so there's been lack of availability and options, so we've had to trust certain players. But I will give Poch praise for improving certain players. But I think in the case of Palmer would have been doing a lot of what he's doing anyways under any team, and then so I'm probably better under certain managers and also in a better environment based on the players around him. I think that's all fair and balanced to say.
Has Palmer improved throughout the season, though?
I mean, yeah, he's got more confident. He's doing his thing. Of course, this is his first full season playing 4 minutes, right? So he's going to have a bit more confidence, like than he did at City, because he's the guy here, and he believed he was the guy here, and now he's proved that he's the guy here in the first few months of playing consistently. So he's improved himself. Pochettino has done well in terms of giving him the license and again the freedom to sort of do your thing. He's not doing like a Pep kind of thing. We're saying that you have to just play a certain rigid style, which I think we've seen affect certain players. You've seen it affect the likes of Foden, Bernardo Silva, Mahrez, Grealish is the biggest example of that. So Poch isn't doing that, and I'll give Poch credit for that. I don't think he deserves bare credit for it, but I'll give him some credit where he deserves credit for what's happening in this season. But again, just to make the point, right? That's why we have to talk like these things with context, because I couldn't say, Poch deserves bare credit for bare things because look where we are in the league. Like it's been an appalling season. We have to talk about things in context. That's why it's important to talk on these things, not just to make blanket statements.
Yeah, I'll quickly sum up my. Oh, sorry, Jen. I'll quickly sum up my point. My point was that it's a grey area. Yeah. If you don't know, you can say it's just Palmer or it's Poch. We don't know. And then when it comes to blaming, you can say the same thing, right? But if you're gonna put blame on Poch, then you have to just automatically give credit where credit's due. Then, if that's the way.
Yeah, but Az has already said that he's balanced, and if you know me long enough now, declared to know that I'll give the guy credit when he does well. But I've just found myself criticizing him more than the players this season. You know, that's the problem with Poch. Do you know what I'm saying?
Of course,
there's been games where I've crushed it on the players more. You know what I'm saying? We're balanced here. So I don't know if you're trying to indirect people that you see on Twitter or you see online.
No, maybe it was just the start of this conversation. And maybe, like you said, I've known you long enough. It does. And you agree, yeah? It has been a lot more Poch. It's just been a lot more Poch.
This season,
and then when something goes well,
more Poch than players. Yeah, that's what I believe.
Yeah, and I don't want to defend Poch. I just don't want to completely blame him. There's just too much going.
Yeah, we don't completely blame Poch.
We're not completely blaming him.
Yeah.
No one's completely blaming Poch. No, like there might be people.
You are, Jim. Come on, man. The rest of the guys aren't.
We completely blame him, but like I've said, in terms of what he's meant to bring in experience, coaching, abilities, whatever, he hasn't shown it enough in games and how he sets us up. Even I want to talk about yesterday's substitutions and man management. I didn't like his substitutions. To be quite honest with you, I find his substitutions a bit weird.
Same.
So, it's still little things that I don't like about what he does, but ultimately, he set us up correctly. Palmer played very well in the 10. We looked more balanced. We were flowing. People were moaning about Mudryk and Madueke being not good and whatever. But guess what? I'd rather have them both on the wings than Gallagher. Because at least effectively they're able to still offer something. And even if that means running into a space that creates a space for someone else, it's still, they understand their roles better. And this is what I'm saying about Poch. Play players in their fucking roles. Let them play in their roles. Yeah. And we go from there, rather than just going, right, Gallagher, I'm going to put you on the left today, and you're going to help Cucurella go up and down, and then we end up losing, and it's backfires, which is what he's done. So at the end of the day,
he's phasing out Sterling, so we'll give him credit for that. Again, we can say that it took him long to do certain decisions, and also he's been forced in certain situations with injuries to make certain decisions. But at least with Sterling, I'll give you credit that you finally said, I'm going to give Mudryk a run against. I'm going to start Noni. I rate him for that.
Ads, let's hold off on that a little bit because this Sterling guy was ill. Yeah, that's why he didn't make the squad. Before you know it, this guy could be back playing on Saturday starting.
I'm trying to give the guy credit. I'm trying to give the man credit.
Guys, what about Moises Caicedo? Because yesterday he had
very good yesterday.
When you look
Octopus.
at his stats, he's
Mr. Octopus,
more
bro.
Successful ball recoveries, more successful tackles, more successful interceptions, more everything. Now, there's one guy that I'm in a group chat with who absolutely despises our midfield. He's a Chelsea fan, And he goes on about how every time, even though we won 6-0, we look still very open in the midfield and that people can still walk through our defence, through our midfield, this, that, and the other. There's no protection. But what I saw from Caicedo yesterday was the Caicedo that I've seen from Brighton, winning the ball up very high. He's intercepting when to intercept was very good. He was winning balls, which then allowed us to convert a defence into a quick, transitional attack, which he done very well. He was also running forward with the ball, trying to create play through balls, have shots, whatever. His overall game was very good yesterday, Caicedo, but no one talks about it when he has a good game. And I don't think it's very fair. And I know he's had some very bad games. And when he's had bad games, we've grilled him for it. But yesterday's performance, I feel like we should be speaking more about his performance to show that there is an ability, there is the quality there.
What it is, yeah. The main thing, the reason why it just goes under the radar and why people tend to just ignore it subconsciously, yeah, is because they failed to, exactly. They failed to understand the role that he's playing right now. Because for me, he hasn't been used correctly majority of the season. He's been used as a lone six when he was never that at Brighton, right? But Caicedo, bro, without this guy, yeah, our midfield is so easy to run through anyway. Without him, like I've been saying all season, we are in tatters because the way he wins the ball back for us is mad. And he helps us in build-up as well. I don't think he's as comfortable in the balls like a Lavia, for example, yeah, but he helps us play better in that position, right? But like I said yesterday, bro, certain man will be looking at his price tag and saying, yo, where's the goals? Where's the assists? That's what they're judging him on. They're not judging him to see what he's doing in that first phase. They're not seeing how he's winning the ball back, counter pressing. They're not seeing how he's breaking up play. They're not seeing these things because that position there, people tend to ignore it. Do you know what I'm saying? They tend to just ignore that position unless you haven't got someone there that can do that job. That's when you feel that hole, So Caicedo yesterday, I think that was probably his best performance in the Chelsea top for me, man. He was, from the minute goal, I could see, this guy's going to have a good game. There's certain games I look at Caicedo, I'm like, this guy's going to be poor today. I could just tell. Yeah, from the first second. Yesterday, I could tell that he was going to have a good game, bro. I could tell.
You know what it is? The reason why he doesn't get a lot of praise because he's been quite consistent, Like, he's actually been like a steady 7 out of 10 most weeks. But the problem is with Caicedo is because of his price tag and because of the spotlight on Chelsea, if he makes one mistake, that indirectly or directly leads to a goal. That's
exacerbated.
Yeah, it gets what's called amalgamated. People zone in on it too much. And they focus on that rather than his overall play. This guy, in most games, again yesterday, will keep the ball 90% of the time, keep it ticking, do his time. He'll make one mistake in the match that indirectly might lead to a goal. And that's all people think about. And that's football. But for me, I'd be happy with him. Yesterday was fantastic. He was strong. He's
been our best midfielder, bro, in my opinion.
Do you not think with Caicedo that, and I'm going to go back to Poch on it again with the role that he plays, but do you not feel that with our midfield that the way that we set up and the way that our midfield set up, that each and every game that we play, it seems to be like we play that our midfield is always playing very risky. They're always put into risky positions all the time in the way that they play. It's like when we play out from the back, it's like that they're going to press and try and win the ball.
It is, Jem, but at the same time,
you leave Caicedo on his own midfield to try and beat the press, which he's good at doing, but consistently doing that and drilling them to take risks, which I feel we do, which is a lot different to maybe the old Chelsea midfields that we've seen in the past, where it's been a lot more about stability and going together. This one feels more like, no, you as a person, you're going to do a lot in the midfield and you're going to take some risks and and that's what I feel when I watch our midfield a lot of time. I just feel like there's a lot of risk taking the way we're set up.
Yeah, and it's too much, man. It's too much for these lot. They're young, bro.
I feel like the system. I feel like the system definitely doesn't help the players in terms of like we've been saying all season. Like Caicedo feels like he's on an island. Feels like he's isolated a lot of the times. Feels like when he gets the ball and receives it, there's not a lot of out balls for him to make the easier options. And it's inconsistent, but at the same time, we have to be objective and say he has made some dodgy errors.
Made mistakes.
Which is normal, by the way. He's normal, but he has made mistakes. So it's a bit of both, but I would say it's more on the Poch system rather than him. Because I think if he was in a better system, he wouldn't be making as much of a mistake. So,
bro, when the perfect example, Ches, is just go watch his performances last season at Brighton, bro. Yeah, because he was being managed by a guy that I want. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to speak about managers and that today, Jim. I don't think it's the right stream to be doing that, today, to be honest. But I want De Zerbi for the clear reason that this guy has clear instructions. Yeah, he knows how to drill his team and he's got a clear style of play. And every time I watch Caicedo, it was very, very clear that this guy understood his role. You know how we mentioned earlier about Gallagher's improved under Poch? One of the things that I spoke about at the start of the season, yeah, because you might know that I don't want Gallagher in this 11, yeah, and for me, I'll still sell him in the summer, right? But one thing that I said is Gallagher has improved, and I have to big up Poch for that, because for me, I can see a guy now that's got clear instructions. Because last season, when I was seeing Gallagher on the pitch, bro, he looks a mess. He looked like he was just running around. He didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know where he was meant to be, you know. But now when I watch him, I can see that he clearly understands his role. And obviously, giving him a captaincy as well is giving him a little bit of responsibility. And it's the same thing as Caicedo. Last season, I looked at a guy that clearly understood his role and clearly understood what he needs to be doing. This year, there's certain games I'm looking at him, and he looks like he's clueless, bro. You know what I'm saying? I think Poch forgets that these guys are young, you know, that and they need their hand held. He needs Caicedo holding his hand next to him, bro, to combine. Caicedo likes to combine with people. You can't leave him on an island by himself for too long, because he's not as press resistant as Lavia, bro. He's really not. You know, long term for me, I think it's going to be an 8 long term. I think Lavia will be the 6, and then you'll see Caicedo advance further up as a box to box 8. Yeah. But for now, Poch can help him a lot more. You know, he can help him a lot more. But me personally, he's been our best midfielder this season. Without him, we are in serious trouble. Serious trouble.
Just to piggyback off of that. So I was bored like 2 days ago, and I watched Arsenal versus Brighton FA Cup, I think from last year, where it was Caicedo, Billy Gilmore pivot, but yeah, it's normally was McAllister, and I'm looking at Caicedo. So some of the things you guys see sometimes where he's misplacing passes, like he was still doing that, but it was as less and less dangerous and like as we do now. So he's like the lone, like not the lone 6, but the deepest 6 right now. So his pass that he misplaces is leading to errors. In the Zerbi system, he knows where he's getting the ball higher up the pitch, and he's like a ball winner. He's not meant to stay in one position. He has an engine on him. So when he goes, he likes to win the ball back and then release it to somebody who's more techie on the ball. Like I feel like in our system, like normally he's been like the deepest 6, if you know what I'm saying, and we're relying on him for buildup when we should use that more of like an Enzo. I don't know why Enzo's playing so much more higher up, you know what I mean? So like I think a lot of these guys are technical base, and we like to play transitional. This is why guys like, to me, like Gallagher look better, because he's more suited for that type of system. When we have guys opposite who like to be on the ball, like you got Gusto and Kuku, Palmer, Enzo. Even Caicedo is good technically, but he's not as, you know, sound as the others. You know what I mean? But
I mean, Xavi, let me ask you this: what do you think about the performance of Caicedo and Gallagher in the pivot role together yesterday? Do you think it's one that looks better? There's some people now, and I've seen it, not just rivals, but some even incidentally Chelsea fans are saying, "Oh, we're better without Enzo." But I said this to Don. I said,
I just think
if Caicedo was injured yesterday, they would have said, and we would have won that game exactly like that with Enzo and Gallagher. They would have said the same thing. It's just
I think it's a lazy. I just think we have a better player in the 10. And Caicedo is more roaming. Like he can go up and press. You know what I mean? I think just what I was saying, Poch use it. It's the flip version where Poch is using Caicedo to sit deeper and have Enzo, you know, be higher up. Even though you do want Enzo higher up in some situations, I just feel like the way we're trying to play out from Caicedo too much, where that's not his strength. So like when you see him winning up the ball, I think for the second goal where Palmer headed it up, like where he was up far up the pitch and he's able to win the ball back and then release it to Mudryk. That's his strength, like winning the ball in those areas. Like the guy has an engine on him. He has an eye for a tackle. You're kind of limited in his game when he's just sitting deep like that. You know what I mean? And sometimes you get caught in transition and he's the only one back. So
yeah, it's a bit similar to when Kante was playing as a lone 6, because we know his game is all about being the roaming destroyer and working up. Like, so guys like that, they need to have the freedom to want to go, and if they get beat, then they have a Matic behind them, so they can obviously sweep up.
Just to finish my point, so like you look at plays like this, like when Palmer receives the ball, right? He's a forward thinker, so he's gonna find solutions when other players just can't see the solution. For example, he's going to do that little thing. He's going to do that little first-time pass into the striker, run off the midfielder, his blind side, receive the ball, take a shot. Like stuff like that. It goes into Gallagher, and his first thought is to look for the nearest wide-open player. That it clearly has to be in open space. Like there's times where players are in between certain defenders, and you may not think the ball can be on, but a pass can be on. And when you have a more technical player, the game flows better. It's not choppy. They're not taking that extra touch where in the high level, that split second touch matters. That first touch where you're taking, you're not receiving right, that concludes to closing down the space. So I think that's what it is. We were more
sorry, Zari. Obviously, like, we've been talking, like I said, I need to move on to like, maybe Gallagher, but like, are we gonna still do like the whole player ratings? Because we've kind of like catfished the audience and not done a player ratings, you know?
I'm going to go through each player and designate someone to speak to them, because we've done an hour and a half and we've not even got to we got to the player ratings, because obviously we spoke a lot about Palmer stuff. But
it was meant to be that Cole Palmer talk and then player ratings, but then we kind of got sidetracked with like Poch as usual.
But it always happens.
But yeah,
it's fine. Listen,
I think we covered a lot. I think we covered a lot during that anyway.
Yeah. I mean, we'll cut out Petrovic because I don't think he had much to do yesterday anyway. In the discussion.
Yeah. Although I would say his playing up in the back was good. I'll give him that. Yeah, a little bit, but I would give him some credit for passing up the back a bit better, which I thought was good, which is a big criticism that I have of him. So it was good.
That was good. If I'm being honest, if I'm being very real.
There was one kid that scared me, bro. This guy, you know what it is about him, yeah? I've clocked. He doesn't lock his foot. He doesn't lock his foot when he passes the ball, man. Like he kind of just passes it, yeah, and doesn't lock. That's why his passes just look a bit flimsy, you know.
All right, let's go. All right, let's move on with these player ratings, and then let's start with right forward. I want to give you Cucurella first. What do you think? Because I know you're not a Kings fan, but
yeah, I mean, ironically, I'm watching the game now. I heard the game on in the background just so I can like have a bit more of a recap of things that happen. And as you talked to me about Cucurella, you just launched the ball in for no reason and just gave it away. But he had a decent game, man. I don't think there's too much to say about Cucurella. Obviously, the cross for the goal was decent. He put it into an area. Defensively, again, he was all right. Like their bigger chance of the game, which was the better one. I think like him and Mudryk kind of got done with the overlap there. And they needed to be a bit better. But no, like he was playing against Ashley Young. Like Ashley Young as a winger in 2024, he's not going to ask you serious questions. So he wasn't tested in that way. But I'll give him credit because he was good on the ball. His passing obviously is better than Chua. I'm happy that he's playing over Chua. I wanted to continue playing for the rest of the season, preferably. He should definitely start against Man City for me. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I'd give him like a 6.5, maybe a 7. He was cool. It was cool.
That's fair.
All right, so we move on from him, and we will then go to Don, and we'll give Don Silva.
Of course.
I want to hear this.
Nah, man like Silva. Nah, yesterday was what you call a senior. Silva. Yesterday's performance is what you call a senior performance. Yeah, just getting on with his job, doing what he's doing, and just leading by example from back to front. You know, because in recent weeks we've looked way too shaky at the back, man. There hasn't been anyone who's been stepping in to be that leader. You know how I've said when Silva's not there, Disasi is usually the guy that steps up, but he's been looking like a wreck as well recently. Do you know what I mean? But Silva brought a little bit of calming presence. I think obviously him and Chalobah playing together helped because they understand each other's game. They've played together before, so that's not a new partnership there. But yeah, man, it was nice to see Silva not being, embarrassed like we've seen this season, because I think he's still conceded the most amount of mistakes leading to goals or something like that in the league.
Mistakes leading to shots, I believe.
Yeah, shots or goals or something along the lines of that. I read it the other day. Yeah, so it was good that he was a little bit more composed yesterday, and he was playing it out from the back a lot quicker as well. You know, I think Palmer was good where he was helping to drop into the first phase and help out a little bit. But yeah, I thought it was a solid game from him, man. Obviously, Everton didn't really pepper our goal. There's not really much for him to do, but it was still good to have like a Silva box presence, man. Because one thing that I've said with Man United is, as shit as they are, Varane in the box, that guy, he saves them so much. And Thiago Silva in the box, he saves us a lot as well, you know. So yeah, man, I'll give him a 7 for yesterday.
And the one thing that you don't like or didn't like about him was holding the ball too much. But when we're winning games, I like that he holds the ball and he's composed more with it, because he's not doing stupid quick pass outs, and we lose the ball and get caught. Like he's got he can gain brain. He knows what to do in certain times and stuff. And I don't know, like I just feel this is why I wanted him in the team. I wanted him back because I was fed up of seeing Badiashile, Disasi, Chalobah, Disasi, whatever. It just didn't have that. It was just not working. And I know
just to your point, Jem. Sorry, I really didn't mean to cut you off, but just to your point, like when you terms of him holding on to the ball, like in professional sports, there's like a fine line between composure and being lackadaisical, right? And we've seen that even against, I think, Sheffield, where like there was one time he defended it well, but then he just passed it so laxly towards Petrovic, and they almost like caught him out. Like he has those moments in him, which again aren't great, but for the most part, when he's being composed on the ball, taking time to actually pick a pass out, play into midfield when it makes sense. If not, then just keep it and then roll it across the back line. Like that's good. It's good for our build-up that we have somebody who's being thoughtful with the passing, and that's what we need, because in this team, all these guys are just erratic because they're young and inexperienced.
Yeah, there's that, but then you've also got to have a balanced take on that as well, because there's times where I'm looking at him and Enzo's there showing for him and he's constantly pointing and doing the thing that he does with his arms, and I'm like, bro, just play the pass. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true. Yeah, like I said, it's obviously a balance. It's like when it's good, and when it's not, it's like you're slowing us down, bro. Like against Palace away, it was super slow. Super slow,
bro. And then when Levi Cole went at centre back, when he came off, you could see how quick he was. You could see how quick he was just playing into the midfield. So, but yeah, man, big him up, man. This is the all-time I was talking about.
Long time no see, bro. Good to see you, Jay, man. Hope you're well, bro. Long time. A lot of old faces coming through, man. Yeah, I'm back, guys. You're probably thinking, Jesus, I haven't seen him in a while, but yeah, we're trying to work.
This is what we need. We need Chelsea to win games more often, 6-0, and you get everybody back. That's what it is.
They used to have 200 people, literally 200 people on this channel. In here, you know, at the moment we're sitting on 50, 60, which is fun. We're working on it. It's cool.
We gotta be consistent. That's what it is, Jim.
Yeah, it is. It is consistency. It's like anything. Cheers, Chalobah. Obviously, again, it looks like he might be leaving in the summer, but you know, ideally, I said again before we started that I prefer a Silva and Chalobah setup. What was your thought? What was your thought on his performance yesterday?
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. He actually very impressed me. Can't lie, he actually really impressed me. He's good reading the game. He showed good pace at times to get out of trouble. He was good on the ball. Sometimes he can be a bit shaky. I see him. Sometimes he can make the wrong decision. Sometimes he can force a pass he doesn't need to make. But yes, I thought he was assured. He was composed on the ball, like I said before. He read the game quite well. And what things he needed to deal with, he needed to deal with. So can't lie to you, I'll give him a 7.5. I think he was one of our better defenders.
Can I say like, and I don't want to always butt in, but like, can I say like, I'm really glad you said that he impressed you, because I was very, very impressed with what I saw. I would actually give him an 8 because again, defensive contributions, like he was good. Like Everton, I think I'm counting now. Like I'm 76 minutes into the game. I think they've had about like 15 corners / free kicks where they've crossed it into the box, and on a lot of them, Chalobah's the guy who's winning the header, like and dominating the box. And we've known, and that's been the weakness of Chalobah in recent years. Against when he first came back into the team, I think it was against Leeds, I believe, in the cup. He lost like every aerial duel. It was awful. But against Everton, who are one of the tallest teams in the league, this was like our shortest lineup, I think, that we could field. Chalobah was dominating in the year. So that I love that. He made also some really good interventions and stops at the front post when they're trying to cross it in. So Chalobah, super, super impressive. And again, he did all this without having to make a mistake and then make a tackle to recover and then do a silly little fins pop like a certain French centre back who I won't get into. But listen, it was composed. There were no need for silly fist pumps and all that over dramatically celebrating tackles. He just did his job. Went about it nice, composed, solid. I liked it a lot, man. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, solid performance. Yeah, you can give him an 8. Like it was good, man. I was impressed.
Okay, who we got? Declared. You get Milan Gusto. Malo Gusto.
Well, I got to give a warning. My rating is going to be based on probably the first half, second half. Fell asleep. You got a perfect hat trick. I thought I can have a good night's sleep.
Wait. The one time we're winning comfortably in a game, you fell asleep. Like, you don't want to enjoy it, no?
Oh, well, you can understand that game starts at 5 a.m. for me, yeah?
How can man just drop it like that? I said, I saw a perfect hat trick. I said, yeah, that's it. I'm done. I'm going to go to bed now. That's it. Bro, how can you even go
5 a.m., I hear it a bit more, but I feel like
I don't hear it.
Oh, no, you got to understand that.
I don't hear it. Listen, I declared, I don't hear it, yeah? You know why? Because our team don't like winning, bro, and we like to just give away the goals, right, for fun, yeah. So how can you go to sleep comfortably knowing what you've been watching this season, bro? How? I would have been tossing and turning.
No, it probably wasn't. I was having doubts, yeah, because I was already tired from the get go. Yeah, you gotta understand this game started at 5 a.m. for me, right? So I'm wrecked at that. So I'm watching and I'm happy and I'm comfortable. Usually when you get upset when we are losing, you got that rage. It's hard to go to sleep, yeah. But even when I dozed off a little bit, I know, okay, we're gonna cop a goal. I had that feeling something bad's gonna happen. But yeah, well, you can just rest a little. It just made me comfortable. When you're raging, how do you sleep? usually I wake up these god awful times, just to watch a Chelsea game, and we're so poor. The mistake.
Yeah.
I throw things around my room. I want to punch the wall. Like, how are you gonna go to sleep after that? I'm raging.
I think that's the
Can't
funniest
go
thing I've
sleep.
heard you say. I mentioned I
Yeah,
saw
it
the
was
first half hat trick and I went to sleep.
Oh, perfect hat trick! I was like, great. I can go bed. I was just so.
losing. You just build up all inside now. You're like, yes,
I'm filthy for. I can't sleep. I'm so upset. I can't sleep.
That's too
Nah,
funny,
Palmer put
man.
him to bed. That's crazy. But yeah, that's the winner. From what you
But
saw,
you know,
big
funny.
pause for that one.
That's my title now. Palmer, tuck me in, please.
Pause,
Yeah,
man.
no, that's
Hey,
crazy.
Gusto.
Yeah, Gusto. From what you saw,
Massive pause, brother.
yeah, no Diddy on that. No Diddy.
Massive pause,
bro,
man. You can't be saying things like that, bro. Come on, man.
Pause.
Yeah, no Diddy.
Look, I like to give Gusto a bit more, and I bet he probably did better after I fell asleep. But at the first half, he's a little bit sloppy. I think. I think there's just a few things he gave away. Maybe a bit more balance. I like to give him like maybe a 6, something like that, 6, 7.
Yeah, first few minutes he was sleeping like you, bro. He was sleeping like you. I can't lie. He was giving the
Yeah,
ball
he
away
was
a couple
exactly
times.
like me. I don't give myself a 6. I'll give myself a 5 for that. But I think that there was some moments and then some moments of sloppy giveaways and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I think
about a 6,
I was only like 5 minutes into the game. Then he was back to normal Gusto again, man. That was literally like
woke
5
up,
minutes
didn't
of
he?
just,
Yeah,
of just doing on madness. I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
I think there was a few later on where he gave those corners and why it's memorable because I was always worried each corner they got just because just Everton and the type of team and the height I was and us at set pieces I just had that fear every corner. So when Gusto gave them away I was like you idiot, that's probably why it was impactful. But I'm sure he had a better game second half when I was viewing a different show.
Well, look, one thing I would say, I just said then, was they were massive from corners compared to us. Every time the camera zoomed in, they were
Oh, bro, these guys were
we
Goliaths.
had like
Goliaths,
Gusto pushing
bro.
a 6-foot player like this, and I'm like, we had who else was marking up?
Brandweight, Onana.
You know what I realized, Jeff?
That's
Yeah, we had
actually,
Palmer on flipping Tarkovsky.
that's actually the
the
only way.
core.
That's actually the only way we could defend corners now. Just to start using your hands and shoving and doing all of that. 'Cause these men aren't tall enough. They're not tall enough, bro. They're not tall enough.
Yeah, we're in trouble with height, that's for sure.
I think
Yeah,
we
we
just
conceded
got 3
too many, but
players
we
tall
defended
enough
them well,
on
to
the
be fair.
16-yard box. That's about it.
Okay, moving on from Malo Gusto, we are going to jump into Xavi. And Xavi, you're going to get your favourite player.
Fuck, man. I already knew. But the thing is,
when Xavi knew he was fucked.
Manson.
He's got to pick
I
him
already
up.
knew.
Oh,
But,
6-0. Manson.
nah, but at the end of the day, he didn't really do anything wrong. Like, I'll be a super supreme hater if that was the kid. Like, if I could rate him, what's the ratings? So it's like starts at 6. I'll give him like 7.
Oh,
8.
well, starts at 1 actually. I mean, you can give him a 1 if you really wanted to. 1 to 10.
You give him a 7.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll give him a 7, 6.
I'd actually give him an 8, man. I can't lie.
Or 8, yeah, 8. I just like
relax,
he just
relax.
did
True
his,
captain.
he just did his
Jet, it
job.
was
You know
good,
what I
man.
mean? Like,
Nah, Jet, he was good, bro.
Jim, for double pivot Gallagher, to actually retain the ball quite well, release the ball quickly.
but you see, this is the problem. His
Enzo
bar
would have
is so
been a 10 if
low.
he was playing yesterday, a 10. I promise
Yeah,
you.
but Jem, hear this though. The reason why I'm saying 8, yeah, is because I've told you lot already about Gallagher and that pivot. And when you watch it in person, like behind the goal, and you see how he doesn't like turning on the ball and he's not comfortable on it, bro. Yesterday, he was comfortable on the ball. But like I said, I think a big part of that, was the fact that we were literally battering Everton and everyone was confident, Where it's a tighter game, I don't see him having the same level of performance. That's where you need an Enzo, for example. And that's why, for me, he's still got to come out. But from what I expect from Gallagher in that pivot, he exceeded my expectations. Put it that way.
But the thing is for me about Gallagher, the bar is so low, so we got to be careful of what we're bigging up. Like he played a good game, yeah, but like I think he didn't do anything special in that case to me. You know what I mean? It's not like
No, but the thing is, we're not going to be disingenuous and say that because look at what Caicedo. If Caicedo had a performance like that, or even Enzo, we're bigging him up and say, yo, he done
But
his
if
job.
to me,
Gallagher
I feel
Gallagher done his role. Gallagher done his role to a T yesterday, and this is
but that's
someone
why
I
I
don't
say
like.
it's a 7. I don't give it an 8. I feel like an 8. You got like an 8 to me is what Caicedo was doing. Caicedo was actually
that's fair,
clean
to
on
be
the
fair.
ball and winning
That's
the
fair.
ball high up and creating
I
goals.
hear it. You
You
okay,
feel
then
me?
yeah,
Like, you know what I mean?
Exceptional. He just done his job, so 7 is fair.
That's why I said 7.
I hear it.
man.
I hear it. I hear it.
Eight.
I hear it.
Caicedo to me
I've
was like an
explained
8.
it. I get you still.
To be quite
So,
honest, I
like-
think he's better than Enzo Fernandez. I think we should play him every game. Enzo should hold the bench, and I think
Yeah,
we'd
let's sell
actually
Enzo,
be
man.
better in the
He's a
double
dud.
pivot.
Yeah, man. I don't think we need Enzo anymore. To be honest, I think we should sell him, man.
We should sell him for 100 mil and get our money back. It's a good idea, actually.
Now 50 cut
Um,
price.
That's what we would do, yeah. All right, we've already had Caicedo. Who wants to? I'll take Caicedo because, yeah, you've just spoken enough about him. Yeah, Caicedo, good performance. You know, yeah, we said all what we said. You know, didn't make any mistakes. Won the ball up high. You know, carried the ball well. Positioning was a little bit better, in my opinion, as well than what I have seen with him in games. And maybe, like, you know, we all know that this ain't his favourite position. He does need a bit more roam to go forward and do what he did. And this is why he needs to, in my opinion, the best of Caicedo is that 8 role, because he can press with the forwards and win in midfield when the opposition midfield win it or have the ball. He can then win the ball quicker because his interceptions for me is like 9 out of 10. When he's on it, he's
Clean.
just like bang, 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 and it's like, geez, like he's on it. It's just when you ask him to hold a defensive position as a 6. And I actually understand when he's not able to intercept and he's having to like kind of like, I don't know, like just tackle.
Basically, what I was saying, just being that.
Yeah, like being that, like, I don't know, like that Rodri or someone that's just able to break a play with just like cleverness in that role because they understand.
Because you see, Jam, when he's the last person, like when he's the last midfielder, it's like he has to commit to the challenge. And this is why
the thing he thinks of is that Xavi, because he will just go into it without thinking, oh shit, if I get turned, we're fucked. He'll just
So it's like if he gets beat, that's a free run of that defense.
Yeah,
all the time.
Yeah, and can I say just to that point, right? Like, listen, we all here should rate Enzo very highly. I think Enzo's top, and I'm not here to say that Gallagher's better than Enzo or anything like that. Just hear me well when I say this, guys. That I feel like with Gallagher next to Caicedo, I think Caicedo in some aspects of the game is a bit more comfortable because he has somebody who's more mobile and more consistently good defensively. Like Enzo, we've seen him defensively have some really poor games, some great games like City away. He was great against City away defensively. He was a monster. They've also seen him be a bit lax, not have the right mobility, which I think some of it's been injury, maybe tiredness, and also just maybe that's not his game. And Gallagher, certainly his game is having a great engine. And we saw at times, I think Caicedo was a bit more comfortable stepping up because he knows Gallagher's not like you're going to cover the space behind him. So I feel like that's obviously, I think something that's we're going to talk about a bit more for the preview for City and how we shape the midfield when Enzo comes back in. But I'll have to give Gallagher credit for that. So I feel like a 7 is absolutely fair. I thought he was very good, and I think 7 for me is very good.
And that's why I can't wait for Lavia to come back in, because Caicedo is going to be counter pressing from even higher up on the pitch. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be crazy, man.
Because Lavia has that engine
what
as well.
Do we play when? Do we fit Lavia, Caicedo, and Enzo? Or do you play like a 4-3-3?
One has to drop. One has to drop.
No, it depends what formation. 4-3-3.
You play 4-3-3.
I'm fed up with this pragmatic football. For me, 4-2-3-1 is the way, or something very like that.
Yeah, but you can't do that in every game, Jez. That's the problem.
Yeah, Jem, I'm saying in general, like for a solid system to have, not like every game. Obviously, it's changed up here now and again.
Yeah. But if we were playing Man City, I would and Lavia's obviously fit him in good rhythm. I would definitely start Lavia, Enzo, Caicedo. Obviously, if we're playing Everton at home, we definitely don't need Lavia, Enzo, Caicedo.
Yeah.
What it is.
Three midfielders, which
I think he was a 10. I think he had a great game. Best player on the pitch as always, and I look forward to the next game. Big up to Enzo, man.
I think it was a 20.
Let's go. Who's next?
Forward. I don't know what forward. There you go. Have that, Mudryk. Let's go.
Yes,
I'm glad you gave me this. Listen. He had an up and down game. Listen, overall, of course, it was like he did good things. He had the I don't think it counted as the assist, but obviously he set up the Jackson charge which led to the Palmer header. I don't know if it registers as that, but obviously I'll give him credit because he had some good moments in the game.
Jackson
and then it was saved. So yeah, I don't think it counts as any kind of anything.
But he
no, we have
instigated
some.
it. I hear what Ches is saying. He instigated it. Yeah.
Yeah, he instigated, and he instigated a lot of good moments. But like, there's one moment in the second half, I think around the 70th minute, where like it kind of just sums up Mudryk as a whole because he received the ball kind of under pressure, and he just did it almost like a hospital ball, like 60 yards. He switched it to Gusto, and it was perfect. Like it was a perfect switch. But you're like, whoa, that's crazy. That's like prime Tony Cruz level, like vision and just picking out a ball. Then Gusto took it down well. We did the counter like 5 seconds later. Mudryk's in on goal. And his touch just lets him down, and he's just maybe either running too fast or he doesn't like slow it down in his head to like actually like let me take a good first touch and then strike the ball well, and he didn't do that, and it's like that is just Mudryk.
He tried to score a flipping. You know the goal that Hazard scored against Spurs where he just took it first time. Yeah, I think he tried to do that. I was literally speaking to my boy about this earlier. I was like, bro, in a situation like that, because Mudryk's had a couple of them this season. Yeah, take a touch and just compose yourself, because these lot love to talk about how in training, left foot, right foot, his power in his shot, he's the best at it. I've seen an interview with I think it's Gallagher and who else? I think it was Gallagher and Levi. They were speaking about it. Yeah, so he's obviously showing it in training, but he needs to show it in the matches. You know, in a situation like that, bro, take a touch and literally walk it in if you have to. Go towards the keeper and then just finesse it. You know, it's not every day you try to score a worldie.
No, exactly that, bro. Exactly that, and that's why, like for me, Mudryk, as much as there's great ability, that you see great moments in him, like I mentioned with that switch 60-yard ball, he then has the moments in him where he will give the ball away sloppy or not have like good composure in front of goal. And like, by the way, one of the biggest chances in the second half, better where he hit it to the side netting, it comes from Mudryk receiving the ball under pressure, and it's a horrible touch. Caicedo intercepts it, but his interception goes through to Beto. Thiago Silva also stepped at the time, and that was a big chance to bet on. Obviously, we're 4-0. Who really cares even if they did score? We still would have won the game comfy. But like, Mudryk loses the ball a lot in unnecessary and also dangerous positions for us, and it's like I don't like that. Like, you need to be better. You need to be more technically secure. And of course, I will give you time, especially when you give me some good output offensively. But at the same time, if we're only going to start one winger on the weekend against City, I'm starting the guy on the other wing who we will talk about. I won't talk about him too much, but I thought he was much better than Mudryk or yesterday. And listen, I like Mudryk. I'm not saying that he's a bomb. Sell him, even though I've been saying we should sell him. But obviously, based on yesterday, he was good. He can still do a lot better though for me. So like,
he's had better performances. He's had better performances.
He created a chance for Palmer, didn't he? Which is a very good run. He cut inside through the middle. He used his speed, got through, and then I actually think his timing passings in behinds actually very. I think he's quite under. I don't think people talk.
No, he's a good playmaker. Like he has that playmaker gene where he will play like a really good pass. It's just with me, it's just the consistency over 90 minutes to like do things consistently well or just okay. Like he'll do something great, and then a minute later he'll do something awful. It's like, bro, you just like, don't do that. Like, come on. And it's like, we'll give him time. I'll give him time, but it's just. I want to see more. And again, listen, yesterday was good. I'm happy with the performance. I'll give him a 7, right? Like, cool. I've got no qualms with it. It's just like everybody's eating than yesterday, and I feel like he could have done more to eat a bit more. Because Noni, I don't know who's going to give him a rating, but Noni's going to get higher than a 7 for me, innit? Like, Noni, he did his thing. I feel like Mudryk did a bit of a thing, but he could have done more.
Exactly. And that's exactly how I felt about the game. When I was looking at Mudryk yesterday, I was looking at it like he was in his shell a little bit, bro. I was like, bro, come on, man. Just get out your shell, man. You know, those like early on in the game, like I said, like you've said already, on the left hand side, he was cooking. To be fair, most of the first half we kept going to the right, so
and that's also a big thing. Yeah, like we used the right side a lot more, which is just
He was barely getting the ball, but then again in the second half when he was getting on the ball, I remember there was a time where he got it and he had man like fucking Seamus Coleman on his back, and he just let him take it off of him like on a normal like just quick like I'm thinking, bro, come on, man, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I want to talk about the guy on the other side, Jem. Let me This guy here, this is my guy, bro. Yeah, you see Madueke. These are the sort of wingers that I like. You know when I'm talking about wingers all the time, and wingers that I grew up on. These are the type of wingers that I like. Yeah, one-on-one demons. Yeah, they just want to take a man on every single time. They want the fullback to be sweating and hate him. They want it. You know what Doku said? I want the fullback to hate me. Yeah, Madueke wants every single fullback that he meets to hate him. Yeah. And when we signed him last season, I literally tweeted it, bro. I said, I've got so much time for Madueke. And this is why, bro. This is why. You know, last season, his end product wasn't great. His decision making wasn't great. But I mentioned it to you guys a few times this season, that I've seen an improvement with his end product, his decision making when he gets into the final third. You know, his passing's improved. Remember last year, he kept just kicking it into the side netting every single time. Yeah. Or he would like run past one guy and then try to beat the whole team. Now he will beat one guy, release it, run into the space, take him out. You know, the skill that he's showing. There was one bit where in the second half, towards the end of the game, he done this skill past like 3 players, yeah, and then gave it off to Caicedo. I think he even got injured.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that just now.
I was looking at it like, yo, the feet to keep the ball like that, not lose it, pop it off. He dragged 3 players towards him. That gave Caicedo all the space to just drive through the midfield and then release it, and obviously go on the attack. Madueke is only going to get better, man. For me,
let me just also say something quickly that you've been saying as well. Let me just say something quickly. You hear me saying that again? You don't get that from Bukayo Mino or that flipping North London Stuart Downing, but you don't get that from him, innit? You don't get that from him. He's somebody that fullbacks like to play because he's safe. He'll get it. Okay, let me pop it back to Ben White and Odegaard and let them cook. I'll wait for a little tapping or whatever.
Don't even disrespect Stuart Downing because he used to take on his man. He used to take on his man. He used to take Stuart Downing and Ashley Young at Aston Villa. Yeah, left and right. Yeah, bro. They used to take on their man week after week.
Prime Young was jinky. He was jinky.
I'm gonna be. I like Madueke. I like Madueke and what he does, and I like everything that Don says about how he plays the game. However, there was one slight negative in his game yesterday, which I didn't like. It was when he gets the ball. Sometimes he focuses too much. His head's always down too much, and when we make runs in, like when Palmer's playing in the 10 and he's making runs like in that space off the right where he can play him in quickly. He carries the ball a bit too much and he doesn't release the ball quick enough sometimes. And I'm like, Nonny, it's all right doing that when you're in the final third and you're trying to take someone on to then create space to cross. But when you're deeper and you're receiving the ball on the halfway line and you sort of flick round one and then you see Palmer's making a run into the space that you want to run in, just play it, bro. Like play it through. But he doesn't. He seems to hold it too much sometimes and then he gets himself a little bit tangled up and we get a thrown at. And I just think sometimes his decision making on releasing the ball. Yeah, when to release the ball needs to be a bit better, if that makes sense.
You know, it is. If he does that, Jem, because that's a good point that you make. If he does do that, what he needs to do, he needs to make sure that whoever's running off of him and running into the space, he is actually dragging the opponent towards him and then releasing it, like you've said. He can't just keep trying to drive out from the back because if we lose the ball there, it's over for us. Like they're straight through on goal. So I hear that he could definitely improve in certain situations, but from what I was seeing like last season in comparison to now, it's definitely a player that's improved, man. Definitely a player that's improved, 100%.
Fair. Ches, you get Tammy Abraham. Where is he?
Man,
that's fucked up.
Sorry, I didn't mean Tammy Abraham. I meant Nicholas Jackson. I forgot his name for a second.
We should even
borderline racism.
It should even be Jem. It should even be Jem doing it, bro. Because remember how Jem used to slander. Jem was slandering it, bro. I remember. I ain't forgotten.
I knew it was
But anyway, bypass those. Brother, he was mixed bag, innit? Like he does this in games where he has his impact in terms of he might make an opportunity for someone. He might even score a goal. Obviously, his conversion rate ain't great. But I feel like he's another player where technically he's sound. I like him on the ball. He's quite good at like right now holding up the ball. He's quite strong. His upper body strength, I like it about him. His IQ in the game is quite a good. Look at his assist for Palmer. That was quite smart the way he done it. But sometimes I feel like he can zone out of games. And you don't even realize he's on the pitch. So I don't know, maybe I feel like if I'm being critical of him, his presence in the game needs to be known more. I know he's not the tallest player, and I know he's not the biggest player in terms of height and strength. But I feel like maybe dropping in a bit more, maybe make those runs a bit more, communicate better. But I feel like yesterday's game, great goal, by the way. Touch with the right boot and then swivel and turn and shoot. That's a great goal. So for that alone, and his overall play, I'm going to give him a 7.5. But I feel like in these games, especially against the bottom of the position, he needs to show more. We've seen it against Brentford when he missed a chance. We saw it against Sheffield.
Hard chest.
I feel like
I thought this is one of the better games, bro. I feel a bit harsh.
This is a lot,
I feel like with him and Mudryk.
You want me to give my rating of him?
I feel like they could just come out their shell a bit more.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like they're just a bit like...
I don't know. I feel like maybe he can do more, but also a lot of strikers don't get involved as anywhere near as much as him. And it's still the point where we say sometimes that he gets involved maybe too much in terms of like dropping in We wanted to be maybe a bit more in the box to sniff out chances, because I do feel like for the amount that we create, because we have created a lot of big chances lately, not many have fallen to him, which is I think on his movement as well. Like he needs to maybe do more in those aspects. But I think for me, like he had a good game, man. Like he again, there's some scatty moments. Like he has got good tech, but similar to Mudryk in a sense that like he has got times where like he'll do something stupid or a bit of lack of concentration. Sometimes he'll slip. Like even for the Palmer assist, which was great. Like sometimes he loses and like that, like he slipped there, which again it was fine because he still got the pass off, but like he loses his balance quite a lot, which I think he needs to like work on. Maybe just being a bit more composed, his footing being a little bit better. But he linked play like quite a lot well. He won us a lot of fouls as well. I've only just been watching the game back. I haven't like gone through stats.
Bro, the
like
flicks
look
on
at fouls
Braithwaite,
and all
bro.
these stuff, right? But like he won a lot of fouls. Would flick it around the corner. He's done a lot of good things, man. A lot.
Bro, the ads, the way they're talking about this Braithwaite guy, yeah. And let me just say something about him as well, yeah. I can see him going to United, and it's got a United flop written all over it. I'll be honest with you, yeah. I've watched a couple of his games. I think he's a good player, but I think he's very overrated, man. Like his foot is heavy, bro. Yeah, his foot is heavy. The way Palmer just put it through his legs for that first goal. Jackson as well. Yeah? Bro, Jackson flicked it around him as well. On a couple occasions, right? The only thing I'll say of Jackson, yeah, that I've said all season is like on the ball, he's got the ability to ball. He can bang ball, he can play, right? But it's not every day beat one guy and then try and beat the next guy and then try and beat the next guy. Sometimes just beat the first player, pop it off like Palmer does, and then crash the box. Yeah, that's what Palmer does. Palmer will beat one guy, release it, run into the box, get it back, go. That's what Jackson needs to do, bro, because the way he plays, I like it. That's how I want my 9 to play. There's a foundation to build from with him, yeah? But of course, the movement needs to be better. His decision-making needs to be better. But I think he'll improve these things. But for him right now to be sitting on, 14 GA, after people were laughing at him, Action Jackson, you know, they even laughed when he scored a hat-trick against Spurs. That was how can I be embarrassed after my player scored a hat-trick? Because that game was shocking. That game was shocking from him. I can't lie. It was a shocking performance. But he's still left with a hat-trick. No, he did. But, bro, he could have scored more goals, bro, that game. He could have scored way more goals, you know? But I think overall, he's improved. He's improved a lot from the beginning of the season, man.
He has, but just to add as well, that, like, there's obviously, he's not the perfect player. He's not had, like, an amazing season, but he's done some good things, right? And we'll give him credit. But, like, people judge him like, you signed them for 70-odd million, like Nunes and Højlund. And if you want to judge him like that, cool, even though he's not on their wages and they wasn't signed for that money. But if we want to do that, he's had a better season than both those guys. And in worse teams, especially in the case of a Nunes is in an amazing team and he's missed 69 big chances in the last 2 seasons. I'm sorry. Nico Jackson hasn't seen any of those kind of numbers. So I'm happy. If you're looking at those guys, Nunes, Højlund, like, by the way, I thought Jackson was signed as like a backup guy to maybe Nkunku or another striker. Those are their main strikers right now. And Jackson is better than both those bums. So we need to respect Jackson more in this man. Bro, we need to respect him a bit more.
Bro, he's got 6 more goals than Gabriel Jesus, bro.
Exactly. He's just saying that guy. Let's not go there.
They say he's not Brazilian. They're saying he's Bolivian now.
They're saying he's Bolivian.
Oh, they're saying he's from Peru.
I think that Nicholas Jackson was signed. I think Nicholas Jackson was signed, but was misprofiled when we signed him. That's my opinion. I don't think he was. I think he does an okay job as a striker, but he isn't really a box type striker. That keen eye in front of goal, that movement in the box. That I still see all of that being a bit not his game. What I see of him, however, is more of someone that aids the system on what we try and do, the transition, dropping in deep, receiving the ball, turning, carrying the ball, beating a player 1 and 2 with his quick feet, which he, again, yesterday, I was very impressed how he moves the ball so quickly with his feet. Like, he'll bring it down and then they'll try and tackle him very quickly. He'll just like shimmy it really quickly and he's like gone. And you're like, okay, that's him. That's really good. And then it's how is his final pass? And his final pass most times is usually okay as well. It's just once he get up to that other end of the pitch. Now, his goal yesterday was a very, very, very good quality goal. Like a striker, any striker would be happy with that finish. Don't get me wrong. I just still think that I still think we've kind of thought he was a bot striker, someone that could score. Even though he scored goals, he's not really got that brain still for me as a.
I don't think anyone's kind of. I've never looked at Jackson and thought this is a box striker. I've looked at him more because like start of the season. Yeah, I said to a few of my guys, he's closer to Jesus than he is to Darwin Núñez because they kept saying, "Oh, he's like a Darwin Núñez." I said, "No, bro. When you watch how he plays, yeah." he's a lot better than Darwin Núñez on the ball.
Of course,
Yeah, Darwin might be quicker than him, but in terms of how he plays, the link-up play and that is quite similar to Jesus. Obviously, Jesus is a better footballer than him, but Jackson can actually ball, right? It's just his finishing that he needs to work on, right? And when he sorts that out, when he sorts out his finishing, this guy is going to be
the eye to know where to run into in the, that centre forward. Like I'll give you an example. There was I can't remember if it was the Burnley game. Was he was up front in the Burnley game, wasn't he? At home when we drew 2-2.
Yeah.
Every time we played on the attack, his movement to run in behind the defence was the wrong run when he should have gone. Instead of going and pulling away, he would run into the spaces that the person that's got the ball's running into. And it was just little things like that where I'm like, no, a striker would see that player's running into that space and then occupy a different space in and behind the defender that's trying to defend him and give an option. He doesn't. He seems to just lure to the ball too much because he wants to link all the time and do that because that's what he wants. That's just natural. Yeah, that's how he wants to play his game. That's the only difference in what I see with him. But I'm just like, I like that, but what happens when we get a striker? What do we do with him then? Because
Jem, he needs to. He needs to watch.
It's an option. He comes off the bench. He plays second striker. Maybe he lead the line on 30 odd minutes, and I'm happy with all that. But it's just I don't know how he's going to be utilised in the future if we go and buy an out striker. And this is all about Nkunku staying fit, and I don't know if Nkunku's going to stay fit the way things.
No, he's not. He's not, man.
He plays as your second striker, maybe, or something. I don't know. Wasn't in 30.
He needs to, bro. He needs to watch Palmer's movement, man. Because, like you've said already, for Mudryk, when Mudryk nearly got that assist for Palmer, Palmer crashed the box. When he scored our second goal, again he crashed the box. Yeah, he scored a goal from near post. You see Palmer crash the box quite a lot. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's what Jackson needs to do in his game, man. Because honestly, this guy could have scored more goals. I think I checked yesterday. Yeah. He's missed like 20 big chances or something ridiculous like that, man. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But look, listen, he's improving, man. Look at that goal he scored against Brentford. I was at that game when we played Brentford, yeah.
And he's a bad header of the ball, but that was a great header.
Great header, bro. It was so nice to see in person, bro. The way he leaped, bro. Oh my gosh, bro.
Actually, can he develop that key eye to understand where to position himself as a striker?
Maybe he could. Maybe he could because I'm watching the game now, I'm watching it back for a second time, just the second half, because I remember that a bit less from when I was watching it live. And there was a nice little move that we did on the right hand side. Noni and Gusto worked well for a little 1-2. Gusto's on the outside, he whips it into Jackson, and it's a chance where Pickford pushes it to Jackson and it ends up going out for a corner. And it's if he was a bit more alert in the box, he could have made the run a bit sooner to get there. And he would have been in front of Pickford, and he would have got to the ball. And maybe it's kind of like a Giroud kind of finish at the front post, where you just get that little nick on the ball, and it gets in at the front post. And things like that, he needs to improve on because we know he's got the link up play. He's shown that he can score actually top quality finishes. And we don't. And it's again I have a bit of a Haaland agenda. Again, he's a great goal scorer, but is he a great finisher? I don't know, because how many goals has he scored this season when you think that's a great finish? Not many. And the goal that Jackson scored yesterday, that was a great finish. The first touch, you swivel, boom, right foot in off the inside of the post. That's a great finish. A lot of strikers have scored better goals than that. So if he can keep doing things like that and also get the ugly goals when you're getting in at the near post, you're getting in where it hurts, you're poaching goals, then maybe he could be more consistent number 9. But of course, he needs to challenge though.
And that's why when we speak
just to finish that, maybe, but again, maybe he can be that. But if not, then obviously we need to then bring in, again, if Nkunku can't stay fit, then bring in an Osimhen or a Tony or an Isak or whoever it is to then be that guy and make him then challenge and be maybe the second striker or play off of that striker.
And that's why when we speak about strikers, that's why for me, listen, I know people are going to talk about Osimhen's price. I don't agree with the price. I don't think it's worth that much. I'll take Tony, I'll take Osimhen, but I can see Osimhen working in this team. And the big reason why is because of how the sort of chances that we create in the box and the lack of movement I've seen from Jackson. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, if that's Osimhen and he's seeing Palmer making that run, or he's seeing Mudryk making that run, he's got that natural instinct, to just be crashing the box or being in the right area, the danger zone. I call it a danger zone, right? Every striker should be in that danger zone because anything could come out, like you've said. Keeper could save it. Defender could get it could come off the defender. You just need to be there. Right, and I think, like I said, Osimhen would suit how we play, man. Because in the box, we win a lot of penalties, whip the ball in a lot. We've got tidy technical players around the area. So yeah, man. I think he'll be a good signing. So yeah, Jackson, he's only gonna get better. He's only gonna get better.
Yeah, but he needs to learn. You're not taking penalties here, bro. Like, listen, yeah. Like, and put my photo full screen in it. Like, him and Noni, bro, know your role and shut your mouth.
Yeah,
they need to stop doing that nonsense.
I said this in my fan cam yesterday, but I was not happy, bro. I was not happy.
So before you not even jumped on me, and I already had a rant for like 5 minutes on it. Like, it got me so mad. But listen, I like Nico, but he needs to just chill with the arrogant thing, bro. Like, just chill a bit more. Like, understand Palmer's the guy in it. Like, he needs to stop.
No, it is. Palmer's outshining them, innit? They just don't like it. It's man them talking, innit?
Nah, it's not that. It's not that. I don't think it's that.
Definitely pride, bro.
I don't think they're looking at it and thinking, raw, like Palmer's outshining us here. No, I need to like take the shine away from him. I don't think it's that. I just think it's
no. They're not trying to take the shine away from him. They just
want to eat.
They just want to eat. Yeah, they want to eat as well.
But that's still pride.
Because I can't even show you this as well. I want to show you. Do you know? Let me pause it for a second. There's a little intricate movement that he does for his goal, right? Which is, and when we was talking about him just now,
you can go back to this.
When you talk about his movement in the box, which is what I was saying, it's not as sharp. But Cucurella whips this ball in. He's expecting this ball to come in and around here, so he's automatic run is to try and get into that space with it. But as you see, Cucurella's whipped the ball and it's come back, and these two defenders are still sort of on their bike trying to find their position to not allow him to get in front. But for him to run at full speed and then check back into that hole, and he brings it down on his left foot, by the way, not his right, controls it with his left foot and then swings with his left foot. That is quality striker centre-half finishing. That's what I'm talking about. Having the reading, knowing what's going to happen with the ball and being in a position to react quicker than the defender. That moment there is what he needs to do more for me in positions. Well, he needs to predict.
You know it is as well. Like, I don't know who touched it before, but a lot of our players are confidence players. Like, because we're winning at that point, I think it was 3-0. A lot of the players, like Noni, for example, they're in a groove, they're in a mode. So they're doing things they don't usually do, a bit more expressive. He doesn't do that if we're 0-0. I'm telling you right now, if we're 0-0, he don't do that. But that's why you need the manager to put belief in the players and say, you know what, put you in the right positions, go and do your thing. We know you've got the quality, now go and shot on the pitch. That's why I like Palmer, because that's what he does. But a lot of our players are very confidence-based. They just are.
I wish we got to see Tyreek George yesterday, man. Honestly, bro. Man put on Chilwell at left wing, bro. Like, what's going on, man?
Yeah, Pochettino was moving so stupid. So stupid.
Look at the switch. Did you see that? Look, watch his movement. He's sprinting, checks back.
Yeah, he checks back because you see his Cucurella's passes, like crosses behind the centre backs. And the touch and finish is top quality.
It was good. It was a centre-forward style finish. And we didn't get to see any of the young players, barring... Let's not forget about Alfie Gilchrist's passion goal, man. The finish and then the...
Jimmy Hopkins.
Come on, what a goal as well.
It means more, man. It means more. Listen, the way that Trent talks about, their trophies mean more to their fans. The goal to Gilchrist means more. There wasn't 6-0, that was 8-0, because that counts for 3. So big up Gilchrist, man. Big up Alfie. And in a couple years, maybe some pure profit we can look at, which would be nice and tidy to balance the books.
He's not going to play for Chelsea Football Club,
but yeah, man. Goal, man. Big him up, though. Big him up, man. He did his thing.
Big up Gilchrist, man. Is there anything we need to say on Poch before I go? I need to go, really. He's got like 5 minutes or so. Is there anything you just want to say about Poch and his overall performance yesterday? Anyone?
All I'm going to say, Jem, is moving forward, because I don't want to dwell on the past too much. I don't want to talk about because yesterday, obviously, Palmer stole the show, let's be real. But moving forward, you've got a good opportunity to get Europe. A more than good. Yeah?
Yeah.
We could even, if the coefficient goes correct, we could still get Europa League if we're 7th. So, for me, get Europa League minimum, and then maybe a final or a cup, and that's what you should be achieving this season. Anything else?
That'd be a good thing for us. Would you turn that and say,
if we get Europa League and a trophy, I'll actually take that all day long, and I'll keep.
We would have salvaged something, although it would have like the way we went about it would have been kind of.
It will be annoying because it's like, bro, if you just did this early on in the season, we could have like Chen said earlier, we could have been legit in the top 4. Like in the top 4, like challenging for that, So man, he's got like now. There's opportunity to try and leave with something, And Emirates, listen, we need to try and put just end their title hopes completely.
We're only 3 wins away from 4th. Do you know that? If we win our game in hand, we're 3 wins away.
We're 3 wins away from 5th.
No, I'm saying like if we had 50 points, it would be 10 points of Spurs.
Oh
Our
yeah,
game in
yeah,
hand.
yeah, 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 yeah.
What are you lot saying though? Let's say like we won every game in the league. Maybe let's say we drew against Arsenal, right? And we won every other game in the league, and we and we somehow beat City in the semi-final, and we won the FA Cup. And let's say that got us. Let's say that got us 6.
Hell, it's a good
But,
season.
okay, that would be a cool way of salvaging it. But my point is that enough for you to say that, you know what, Poch, you did your
Yeah,
thing.
it would be. I can't lie, it would be.
It depends.
You would give him a second
on
season.
It depends on the performances that I'm seeing though, with the squad that he's got right now. Because the main thing for me is like Ched said earlier, Poch depends on his first team, bro. And any adversity, he struggles to deal with it. Do you know what I'm saying? So if I'm seeing him like being able to manage the situation that we're in with our lesser players and we're performing well, then I'll be like, cool, do you know what? You've done what I've been asking for. That's the thing.
He had 3/4 of a squad and he utilised it like crap. Still,
Yeah, that's the main problem.
And he still utilised it incorrect. And he didn't. And on top of that, he still didn't know what his best system was because how many times have we played different systems? And how many times when we've actually won a game, would he do the complete opposite the next game with a completely different system and an individual out of position? Like these are the little things where I'm just like, you're not learning, bro, because you're doing it and then you're doing it again, and you're doing it again, and then you're fucking doing it again. Like, and I don't know whether that's a good thing to go into next season with him again with a fully fit squad as well. So I'm a bit up and down with it. Like,
but let's go around the panel though. Like, let me ask the question and go around the panel. So we'll start with you, Jim. If we get 6th and we win the FA Cup, which means we beat City and United,
we stop saying we're going to win the FA Cup. We're not going to win it, bro.
No, I'm just posing the question. I don't think we are. I think we're losing no matter what against City. I'm just saying that now. But I'm saying we did. But I'm just saying if we did. I'm just asking the question, right? Some people think we might beat them. But I'm asking the question, right? If we win the FA Cup and we finish 6th, are you giving Poch a second season? Jeremy first, yes or no?
My opinion is the board will, because I think his target officially, what I think we're waiting for now is he has to get Europe. I think that was the beginning rule, that you have to get Europe. If he achieves Europe, he stays. If it was my choice at the end of the season, he gets European football and he gets a cup, I think I'd say no, but then it also really depend on who's around as well, because it's like, who are we going to? Because I ain't going to no Brentford fucking coach that I've been seeing.
No.
Or Eddie Howe.
No, of course not.
That's a shame, though. Why are we looking at Thomas Frank?
Like, you know, so
I don't think we are, but that's fair enough.
Yeah, just to go off the back, just to go off the back of that, I feel the same. For me, honestly, like I said, I have to see performances drastically improve. I have to see his lineups improve. I have to see his in-game management improve between now and the end of the season. And like Gemma said, if De Zerbi ends up going buying or whatever, then I'll be like, okay, cool. Do you know what? Give him a bit more time in it. But I'm just thinking, like, I've got PTSD because we can't stay fit, bro. Yeah, like I've said, we can't stay fit. And next season, it will be the same issue, circumstances. You know, like as if no other players, no other teams, don't get injuries. So I'm being a little bit proactive because I just know that when things start to go wrong, he won't take accountability, even though we can clearly see that he makes mistakes. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I'd rather not. I'd rather not proceed with him, and I can't lie.
Okay, interesting. I mean, what about you?
Yeah, for me personally, in your hypothetical scenario, I think that'll be a turnaround only because he would have got us a trophy that other managers haven't done in a while. He would have not salvaged the season, but if we play like this the next 6 games and we draw against Arsenal, we just about lose, we win the rest, we finish comfortably 5th or 6th, for me, I'll be like, you know what? With better players, injuries improve, the striker we get in, I'll give him one last chance because you won us a trophy. You've proved you can have a 10-game stretch of not losing or 15-game stretch, which is decent.
Yeah, it would be.
Because obviously you've got to counter in forward, before this run-in, I think we're like 5 games unbeaten. Something like that. So if you all have scenarios to be true, it'll be nearly like 20 games unbeaten or 15 games over.
Trophy curses, spoiling us.
No, I hear it. Listen, my hypothetical is such a big thing, right? For me especially, my hypothetical is such a big hypothetical because again, before United, we had beat a top 6 team with 11 men on the pitch all season. Not for a long time, even before with Potter. So like for him to go and do that, and it would be beating City and breaking their treble, which would be crazy. Because I don't know if anybody else is going to do it. But to do that, to then also get over the line in the FA Cup final, and then to also, let's say get a draw at Arsenal, which would be a good result for us. But then beat Villa away in the league, beat Tottenham at home. If he was to do all of that and perform well, which he would have to do all of that, it would be a lot. And I still feel like at this point, I mean, that would be like it would actually break the script of the season because I've seen like I'm not a lot and enough to say that that's not going to happen. and he's a bum and he needs to go for me. I don't think he's good enough to manage us. But if he managed to do all of that, I would have to actually see it play out and be like, you know what?
I'll be very shocked. I'll be very shocked.
Yeah, I would be shocked. Listen, I'll be shocked if we beat City on the weekend. I'll be real. And obviously, we'll do the preview.
We're gonna win that.
If we somehow do that, that would be crazy for me.
To be honest, did people have high expectations at the start of the season?
Oh, here we go. I'm not going down.
I had us being in contention for top 4, like in contention for top 4 or 5, right? Because that could have got us Champions
I can
League.
understand that. Like my thing was top 6, just because we were a new team that was going to take time.
Well, you didn't expect all these
probably play out how everyone expected it, but it still comes up like to hypothetical. It would have been like my expectations before the season, and probably overachieving, winning a FA Cup as well.
Yeah.
And if the FFP news is true and we're such in a bad position, and then sacking Poch would make that a lot worse.
Not a lot, because he's only got 1 year left on his deal.
The last season on his contract.
But we only gave him a 2-year deal, so sacking him with 1 year left isn't as big a payout as it was with Potter when he had like 6 years.
Yeah, that's why I keep taking him.
Oh, you're right, but I also take into consideration, I think to take the 2 years maybe gave him a higher payout or something like that.
No,
there could be something.
I heard rumors that Poch is unhappy as well with the situation he's in.
Yeah, fuck out my club. Especially not bringing in an FA Cup.
I think they gave him 2 years on the basis of the first year will assess you. The payout won't be that much for the first year. And if you think you're good, you'll get the second year. It's not like we'll give you 2 years and we'll cut you off halfway.
No, but I also think he has targets. We have to make European football from a financial standpoint. That's something we need to be doing. We can't keep going each and every season, not getting no European football, not winning any trophies. These are all things that we need to start doing. And if he does do that this season, he will stay. Whether we like it or not, he will be here if we get European Conference, Europa, whatever the hell we get. Even if we got to the final of the FA Cup and we lost that, or we lost 2 finals, but we still get European football, I guarantee they will keep him still, just because he got European football.
I sadly agree with this board. Do you think those targets are like high as you say they are? I'm having doubts. Just that every action this club is or this new board has made now hasn't been trophy, driven. It's all about make players, developing players, and I feel maybe those targets not as high in the first season. Maybe it gets a pass.
No, there is no targets high, but that's why the stance of getting European football as an overall isn't high for this football club. We still have quality players.
Oh, especially this season, no. Yeah,
do you get what I mean? So we should still be getting.
No, what you're saying is normal. I'm just having doubts. This board is a little bit different, or having. I don't think so. Having different targets, like they don't see. There's nothing they've said that says we're gonna go win trophies, win a team. Everything is just about players, player development.
Does Egbali look like the type who comes just to lose? Let's be serious. Look at him. Like from what we've seen of him, does he look like the kind of guy?
Nah. These man. Do you know what it is? If Poch
they all look like they do.
If Poch manages to get us back into Europe, and he gets another season, just know the chop off is going to be December, in my opinion. I don't see this guy being given the same level of patience again. Yeah, because there's only so long you can keep saying excuses. Injuries. There's only so long. And these guys, as much as they're naive and the execution's been poor in terms of the players they've brought in and whatnot, they're still going to have decisions to make because they can't they can't keep, fighting for Europe and struggling to get into Europe, bro, because financially it's going to hit their pocket. Do you know what I'm saying?
Guys, we're all going to listen, we're going to do a match preview, okay? We're going to do a match preview of the Man City game this time. I don't know what day. I'll talk to the panel about it, but it'll probably be Friday, maybe. Most probably Friday or Thursday or Saturday. Saturday. When do we play Saturday? What time? Is it Saturday we play or Sunday?
Ches, you coming, yeah?
Are we playing Saturday?
There's still a ticket there for you, bro. Ches said, fuck that, I ain't coming, bro.
I ain't going as well. I had a ticket, but I said no, so I'm not going.
Jem's the same. Jem's the same.
We'll talk after, but I'm definitely.
Anyway, guys, big love. I'll talk to you all a bit later, guys. Thank you for the panel as well. Up the Chelsea. Next game is City in the FA Cup semi-final. Let's go and beat them 6-0 as well. Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's just go and beat them. And we'll talk about it in the match preview, guys. We'll see you again very soon. Thank you for being here. Smash the likes, leave a comment, And let's go, guys. Peace.